This joint is lit. Okay, Abba, you ain't tell me you was waking me up for this one, Abba. No, 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 Ahaya. No, you ain't tell me you was waking me up for this one. Oh, we finna have fun. Yes, Lightspeed remix. Oh my goodness, what a year! What a year! Yes, what a year! Ah! Grand risings. That's right. Marvelous, immaculate, purpose-filled risings to the righteous redeemed, 12 tribes, elect, born again, living in purpose. Come on, come on. Up early for the purpose, okay? Happy prep day, approaching prep day, whichever is preferred by you at this moment and your timing of locations. I'm going to get up extra early so I can do my prepping for my father. That's right. Not only that, I stumbled upon a remix. Stop playing with me. This remix is lit. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we had to add something to the remix. I mean, he provided us some beats at the end, so it was only right. It was only right for us to add something to the end. So first and foremost, I want to say all praises and honor to Ahaya in the mighty name of Yeshaya, which is the Savior, my Savior, okay, who is definitely Negro, came and died for a beloved one like me, okay? If it was not for him, I don't know where I'd be. And secondly, I want to play the song by Darak Gabar that was actually like 23 hours ago. He dropped it. So I'm like, yes, lit. Ah! So we're going to play this song. That is my super, super like happy, happy voice. I'll make sure my feature is right. Well, I know ladies don't particularly have features, but I do. So because this was made to me by my sister, Rissy Kodari. All right, all praise to a high in the name of Yeshaya. So we're gonna play the song and then I'm gonna add I'm actually doing my review now. First and foremost, I wanna say that bless this brother. He is consistent, faithful in his work. The Father with his anointed creativity and the message through the songs, okay? And we can most certainly tell that it's not just music, but it's a lifestyle. And that is the kind of person I've always been. I've always wanted to hear and listen to music that wasn't just singing about God, or even if it said God back in our Christianity, I needed to see that a lifestyle was behind it. I can't see that by watching you, but you can tell. You can tell if the person, what I'm saying. So, and if you don't know what I'm saying, to bring clarity, what I'm saying is you can about see, a worshiper knows worship and a praiser knows praise. So I just want to, enough of what I'm saying. I'm going to go ahead and let this music speak for itself. And then I'm going to chime in on the end. Okay, because this is like, it seemed like it's a challenge. So she had to jump on it. All right. This is Lightspeed Remix by your boy, The Rock of War. And at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered. Yo, Duran, you know what time it is, fam? It's time to turn up for this unity challenge. You know how we move it. And we move at light speed. You can't hear what you can't see. My Akis move at light speed. Long as I'm living, I'm a labor. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Put in the work. Tunnel vision never in reverse. My Akis move at light speed. I move too fast to compete. I can do this in my sleep. Wake up and write down what I seen. Light speed. Back in the building, I'm with Bandit Loose. We gon' push this unity like we supposed to. The Messiah made us free, so we gon' tell the truth. In the spirit, bear witness, you know that we them bruised. Keep a sword on me. Perilous times,
Four horsemen mounting up, I can tell it is time. No matter what they offer, I won't compromise. Why would I do that when I see all the signs? Put the Father first in whatever I do. Keep them serpents guessing, don't ever tell them your moves. Keep some oil in your lamp, it's time to show and prove. We study the prophets, not what's on the news. It's looking like the days of Noah again. Babylon, Egypt, Sodom, and Gomorrah again. They say the truth hurts, we gon' bring the pain in the Savior's name. Light speed, we leveled up, we couldn't stay the same. Bring it out. And we move at light speed. You can't get what you can't see. My Akis move at light speed. Long as I'm living, I'm labor. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
Put in the work,
Tunnel vision never in reverse. My Akis move at light speed. I move too fast to compete. I can do this in my sleep. Wake up and write down what I see. Light speed.
Hey, here we go. It's your girl, let's get it. Up early like what's up? About my father's business and I'm not with the blood. Keep it lit with the oil on. Walking in the fruit of spirit so you know a song. Oh, got oil with me. Cause he walked with me. And he talked with me. Oh, and purpose not in time. Got the light on so you know it's gonna shine. Glory of the Almighty. Yeah, Zion sign. Shine, shine for me. Let me start it over. Up early like what's up? About my father's business and I'm not with the blood. Keep it lit with the oil on. Walking in the fruit of spirit cause the call on. Yeah, he walked with me. And he talked with me. And he walked with me. Hey. In purpose, not in time. So the light won't shine cause you know I'm rocking right. Hey. Glory of the Almighty. Yeah, it's time for your Zion, so shine for me. Light speed. Oh, oh. Light speed. Oh, oh. Hey. Keep it lit with the oil on. Walking in the fruit of spirit. Cause the call on. Yeah. Yeah, he walked with me. And he talked with me. Cause he rocked with me. Yeah, yeah. In purpose, not in time. Got the oil so you know the light will shine. Glory of the Almighty. Cause it's time for the Zion. Shine for me. Glory of the Almighty. Yes, Zion shine. So to shine for me. That's right. That's right. Shouts out to the brother. Shout out to you, bro. Daraka Bar. That joint is lit. We appreciate your gift. Much love to you, bro. Much love to you. So I have woken up a little slightly earlier than normally because hiatus, breezings, and it's beyond me, but I'm grateful, right? All praise and honor go to the Most High in the mighty name of Yeshua. Where we left off yesterday is really what you would say like it's I consider that dead. Not dead is like let it go, but dead weight right now for me. Most High basically was like, I'm gonna handle that. I'm gonna deal with that. I want you to remain your joy. I can already tell from how Jediah Malek's video was going with his whole situation on his whole, how would I say it? His presentation and his approach for his manner of how he was just trying to disprove Ahia wasn't going anywhere. And I really don't have the time to grant foolishness much room in my life for folly. He's already showed me what the end's going to be for that household. We've already given the word earlier in Passover. Here it is, Feast of Tabernacles. We still didn't get it. Not only that, but when I typed his name and I saw three other people basically 3 years ago dealing with him on some false prophecy. Strong distaste for that kind of stuff. So far as I'm concerned, seems like he just basically has a history of this kind of nonsense going on in his life. And because this channel is made for my father to be magnified, well, we can't give false ones too much time now, can we? No. So definitely about my father's business and not for the bluff. All right, moving along. I'm gonna read. Oh, we're gonna start from here now, Father. Say no more. Is that what it is? Give me a slight second, all right? All right, Watcher? Small moments, 4:39. Just give me a second, Watcher, okay? I'll play that song for you. Yeah, we're gonna play that. We're gonna play that. I'm in the building back with any moves. Yes. We're gonna play Watchers directed by Judas Story, okay? I'm gonna do my little ad libs on this joint, chiming in.
Watchers at every shot, they with us all the time. See through your disguise, you can't look in my eyes.
That's just one thing about you, waging war in the physical, it's a spiritual battle.
Watchers at every side, they with us all the time. They with us all the time. I
see through your disguise, you can't look in my eyes. No.
Christ warn me about you.
Waging war in the physical, this is spiritual battle. When I got scriptural ammo,
I can look at you and see your misery.
look for occasion to send me up so they can finish me.
They with us all the time. I see through your disguise. You can't look in my eyes. Christ warn me about you. Waging war in the physical. This is spiritual battle. When I got scriptural ammo, I can look at you and see your misery. Look for occasion to set me up so they can sentence me. Trying to twist my words up, Pharisee. Why you tempting me? The enemy been using the same method for centuries. You ain't low, Judas. You say you want my friendship. Trust, if you think that I'm scared, you got it twisted. I've been having dreams, I already know you plan to scheme. Everywhere we go, they got our faces on them camera screens. I call them the watchers.
Let them watch us.
Truthfully, I pray that you repent before your time's up. Cause hell is waiting. Sheep and goats gonna be separated.
It's a lose-lose when you were forsaken.
Watchers at every side.
They with us all the time.
With us all the time.
I see through your disguise, you can't look in my eyes. No.
Christ warn me about you.
Waging war in the physical, this is spiritual battle. When I got scriptural ammo,
I can look at you and see your misery.
look for occasion to send me up so they can finish me.
Now that you learn the truth, you in their database. Snapchat filters, now they can put name to face. Location on your post, they know your favorite place. Watchers at every side, it's like I can't escape. I plead the blood on my entire being. You say you woke, but can you stay awake? Disciples fell asleep when Christ told them watch and pray. Principalities on me, I'm like, not today.
Y'all should name up demons out of every side.
Cast them out to the abyss, Aki, don't let them slide. Your soul is at stake
that you can't jeopardize. It wasn't good for me, so I sabotage.
Real eyes, real eyes. Hold your brother down, you won't
see him rise.
Kwam Yasharala, Kahayalam La'aba, Shabala Kam. Repent before they drop the bombs. If you listening, you still got some time. Watchers at every side, they with us all the time. They with us all the time. I see through your disguise, you can't look in my eyes.
No.
Christ warn me about you.
Waging war in the physical, this is spiritual battle, and I got scriptural ammo.
I can look at you and see your misery.
Look for occasion to send me up so they can finish me. Do not sleep. I see you deep in and watching this. Stay tuned. Yasha got my back. Ooh. that you formed will prosper. I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed. I know he walks with me and he talks with me. Yes! Let bro coming through with the music. Okay. So we're gonna go on then. Hold on. Give me a moment. I'm taking this moment really quick. Okay, let me go. Right. Hold on. Watching that every side, they widows all the time. I see through their disguise, they can't look in my eyes. No. Y'all should warn me about you waging war Okay, tear that drum up on a snare drum. Stop playing. All right, all praise to the Most High and name is Shia. All right, so we're going to go back into the kind of what I was trying to prove to you all yesterday, which was 2 Samuel 24 in the numbering. Now, there is no way, there's nothing that the enemy can do that he can that the Most High has a plan B for. Like, he can't, unless you're a blasphemer, there's hope. Okay, so there's absolutely nothing that the enemy did not think of. The Most High didn't shut him down on. Okay, so that's why we laugh at him, because he's so defeated. It's not even funny. So as I was saying, it was coincidentally funny how this year, they, was really driving the census. You had COVID. You have the voting thing going on. There's so much going on in this year that you just cannot afford to be in having your tunnel vision in reverse, nor even entertain things more than it's necessary. Okay, more than it's necessary. So I'm gonna put it to you like this: the reason why you guys see a lot of boldness with me is because I am quite clear, sure, through what my Father has shown me, what He revealed before showing me. Okay, like how my Father's been building with me. Me and the children last night were looking at some old Facebook videos I used to do when I used to do live before I came on YouTube. I was actually on Facebook Live. Okay, but it was just too the crowd was too broad, too immature, too not spiritual. It seemed like any and everybody was on there. I just couldn't do it. Plus, I was watching the growth. I was saying Yahuwah in there and Yahweh is in there and all kinds of crap. Okay, so all praises to the Father. He's kept me. As I watched the videos, I seen how, although I wasn't learned, how I can see where He's brought me from, and I just can't thank Him enough. I really can't thank Him enough for that. So again, let us get into this word. What we're going to be into is right now 2 Samuel 24, and then I'm feeling in spirit also a continuation in Genesis, maybe a go over in Genesis, because it's very important for us to be able to not read the word, but let the word be read to us through the Spirit of the Most High, because His Spirit of truth is the filter. Okay, so it's like if you're drinking, even us, we had a filter on our faucet system because we have well water, but they put softeners in it. So the water on our body feels like silky smooth, but when you're drinking it, it doesn't taste the way you know what I mean? Like it's got like a powdery aftertaste to it, makes your lips chapped, make you thirsty. So we get rid of a filter system that gets rid of those things, right? So that is what the Holy Spirit is like when you're in His Word, because Yasha knew when he left, he was the living word. And he knew after he left, he prophesied our besieging of our nation, the downfall of Jerusalem, the trotting down of our nation. And with that, people besiege and take a hold of our things. And because of those things, they did not basically they didn't have more power than the Father allowed them. So they were able to place things in, take things out, and so forth and so on. I wanted to get something on that as well. Hold on, let me see something. I mean, after we got off live, the first video um, that I did on concerning that individual, I wouldn't even speak his name because he's not even that worthy of his name to be mentioned on this platform, because the name of this platform that's exalted and magnified is the name of Ahia and Yeshaya, okay? But my little ones and I, it troubled me to see Zion standing too close to that fire. So because of that, Out Through Wisdom took that video down. However, as I was looking at the fire, I must say that it gave off a color that was not the average color. And we had prayer. He was speaking to the children beautifully. The aroma just was going up. And what I was noticing is right around that time, there were excessive amounts of jets outside, flying above us, like crossing over where I had the grill at. And I was like, like this is just normally, even last night or the night before when we had little Tylee and Shalise here, we went outside, just talking to them and then there with the dog. I was like, look at how they are day and night with these jets and this chemtrail stuff. And before I used to be like, oh my gosh, worry, but there was such a peace on me and the children that I knew that there was nothing they could do, that though they are planning these things in the atmosphere and doing all these defiled things, that Ahia still has the upper hand. So I wasn't worried about that. But I wanted to read something for a minute in Proverbs 30. Oh, yeah, I'm in Psalms 30. Okay. Let me get Proverbs 30 really quick. I want to read something. Proverbs. And then we're going to go to 2 Samuel 24. So let me put a bookmark there. And I said, want me about you religion more in the physical. This is scripture battle. All right, so if you're just coming on to see the challenge, I already did it. That's in the video, beginning of the video. But I particularly normally come on and do my Father's business. So, yeah, the challenge, the remix, you can check it out. I might need to say that in between because the video title would be having people come for that. I don't want to feel like I'm deceiving them, misleading them. But this is the, hold on. This is the remix. Chapter 12, verse 1. Okay. Talk about light speed. Come on, bro. He did his thing on me. He definitely did his thing on me. And not only that, the Most High works a mighty work through this brother. Straight up. And I'm grateful that we have brothers who, through righteousness, use their gifts rather than rely on this world for prosperity gain and give their gifts over to the kingdom of Baal. So, salute to you, brother, and much respects for your diligence and your righteous gifts of the Most High. It is well with you. All right, there was something I want to read. And Proverbs 30. There's something I was looking at I want to share. Okay. It was Proverbs 30. All of Proverbs 30, basically, all of the Proverbs is absolutely very, very, very heavy and weighty. The wisdom of the Most High is absolutely beautiful, and it was something I was looking at, and I wanted to share with you all, and it tugged at me. All right, because after I read this, it led me to another video about a sister saying a police officer prayed over her, and I was just like, what really troubles the eyes of the Father is the people being led by their own understanding. Not only led by their own understandings, but comfortable in it, like, solid in it, and not even going to be willing to consider. Not even willing to consider. And it's like, if we, like my presentation through the journey of me finding a higher, may not have been seen to others that it was from a place of pureness or righteousness or whatever. I know there were several people who might have watched me and were enjoying the Most High's bill with me, but once I begin to stand solid and declare or proclaim as He told me to, then the ball began to roll. But He told me that my faith would be increased. See, I didn't increase my faith. I'm not the source of my zeal for Him. And when I saw that video of the sister, she was a sister, well, in appearance, who was an officer. And she said she was at some fair or something on duty and saw a little girl hugging everybody. I'm talking about a little girl just going up to strangers, black, white, just hugging everybody. And what she got from that was, that's America. That's America right there. That we need to, like, family, these kind of things may seem like they're innocent. And those kind of things may seem like, yeah, that's cool. But it's not the will of the Most High. First of all, a child should not be running up to strangers, just being free to hug every and anybody in a time like these. The world has perceived love to be vain and idle emotions and physical things. Okay, love is simply love by the Most High was pure, it's perfect. But the world has tried to redefine love by emotions going around His word, and they have not shown forth any love. Look at the world today. The world is full of lawless behavior. And now we have people trying to say love with a rainbow flag behind it. When that's not love, that's actually lust. And that is abominable affections and unseemly type behavior. But all the people who you would deem to have been normal, they haven't even begun to put the standards up. That's when you know society is bad. That means if you are a person who's heterosexual, but you're okay with someone gay, that makes you just as wrong. And that's what the Most High has been showing to me. Let me just read this verse. Proverbs 30, verse 14. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men. Now you think about that. What do they mean? The needy among men. Who is the needy? You would also can see that as weak. The Most High said in the beginning of creation that it is not good for man to be alone, and woman is weak. So the needy would be perceived here as woman and man, sharp with teeth and like swords to cut. In other words, they speak words, they come up with policies, they come up with ideas to cut asunder the dynamic and design of the Creator. For the Creator has formed man and man. No, the Creator has formed woman for man, not man for woman. And so, in a society where, and in a country, and in amongst a nation that you see in this generation of times where it's just too okay for homosexuality to just be running rampant. I remember coming up in our projects in Florida in Duval County that if you was gay coming in the hood, you would have got beat up. Cops didn't come through there. You was getting thrown off the building. Like certain things wasn't flying when I was coming up. And if you was bad, even someone of the drug dealers would have beat you, took you home to your mom. If the ice cream truck came, they looked out for you. It was like a community type thing. Faggots were scared, or homosexuals were scared to come outside. But nowadays, they walk around the streets like it ain't nothing. And then that makes you question the men who are supposed to be straight. That's what I say coming to the state that I'm in now. I'm like, in all these bars, I'm like, it's just too many gay dudes in these neighborhoods. It's just too many of y'all. And it's the destruction that's been done to our family. Not only that, but every day now, I got people texting me from the NAACP and voting people talking about, hey, have you voted? All this stupid, annoying stuff, right? And what else? I was going to get to the point where, okay, so people text me about the NAACP, you know, in regards of, hey, we're looking out for black people, this and that. And first of all, that's a byword that I will not accept. That's one. And for two, I stand up for righteousness. And for three, blackness and darkness is something that if you accept that term, you are accepting the justification of injustice done to our people, because they don't see black people as a person, because black people isn't a people. There's no nation, and even in the Bible, that the Most High acknowledged as black people. Now, we all come in different hues of brown. We went from being a Negro to African American to Afro American, or, you know, now black. All these different bywords. And like I said before earlier this week, while our people are worried about the wars and rumors of wars, the fifth seal is about to occur. And so when it came to the census bureau thing, those people who were asleep in ignorance, they probably submitted their heads to be numbered. And guess what? The Most High doesn't allow ignorance to just be like, man, you didn't know. He's not winking anymore. We're in the acceptable year of the Most High. Like in the beginning of this year, he told me 2020 may very well take you. So that was the ammunition for me to be like, all right, you know what? I got to get it together. I got to pull it in. I've got to fight to get my house in order, no matter what comes against me. And so with women joining with the Black Lives Matter, what it's really bisexual lesbians movement. That's the same with Proverbs 30:14, to devour the poor from off the earth and the needy from among men. You know, this is unfortunate to be living in times where the wicked rule is not being fought again. Like that's why he said, Who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? We don't need to think that this false, stupid little narrative of hypnotism, sleep, love everybody, let my child at some fair somewhere run off and start hugging every and any old body at the time where children are getting snatched and pedophiles are running rampant. She was in the video crying. It's the same old. It's the same old emotional foolishness that our people do when it comes to wanting to hold on to massa's leg. Like, how long will our people not even consider why things are like this, other than keep trying to hug and hug and hug and keep trying to make peace? This is, like I was saying in the video, with Walmart's new little tricks with that symbol on there. See, these companies are hiding their true agendas, what they stand for, what they represent, and what their missions are. You see, the United States has done a very grand job with making this bondage look comfortable, look promising, making nightmares look like dreams. But when you only dream when you're asleep. So if you wake the heck up, you'll be able to see while you're dreaming, they're living their reality at your stake of bondage. At the stakes of you being in bondage, they're living it up. Hence, trying to devour the poor. It's the poor that works. It's the poor and the needy who are disadvantaged. Meanwhile, you got little funny Biden and all them with that same little handshake, like, like every time you see, like, who you really like, and why you always got a smile on your face? Like, what's really funny around here? Like, nothing's really funny, yo. Nothing's really funny. Nobody is not concerned about America looking like your modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. People's not concerned about the wrath of the Most High. The children are constantly being sacrificed. People ain't worried about the fact that sisters and women is coming up missing. People just, come on, our folks still being shot down the street. Like, seriously, yo, and who is the face of doing all this stuff? She was like, this is America. She was like, I said, just do a good thing to people, no matter the color, race, this and the third, You have to understand. Oh, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice if we could all just get along, right? Have we been able to get along? When it is written, two manner of people shall be separated. Think about it. Their mannerisms are not according to our mannerisms. Their fashion and way of life isn't the same as ours. And the Father knew that because he created them. He knows better than we do. His thoughts are most certainly higher than ours. And his ways are bigger than our ways. So we're going to go ahead and read. That was just my overview. In other words, I like to share things that I watch in my review on those kind of things, so that maybe it could drop a seed in your heart and your spirit to consider it. Look at which pair of shades you got on in 2020. Like, how are you seeing things in 2020? Are you establishing a relationship with the Most High Creator? Have you put unprofitable, unfruitful friendships, cut them off? Have you done your due diligence to do the best you can to get your home in order? Have you done all that you can do to withstand and steadfast in that righteousness and the calling that he's called, the election that he's made, he's granted us? Because if you're not and you're still playing around, it's not even going to be good. Like, I can't understand. If we're going to be keeping the feast of the Most High, we need to be doing it according to scriptures. Simple as that. Like, we don't have Feast of Tabernacles in our houses. Like, that's not Feast of Tabernacles. That's disobedience. That's rebellion. That's coming up short. But see, I guess people didn't learn from the days of Cain. When the Most High told him, if you do what is pleasing, will you not be rewarded? So it's going to be a lot of people like Saul. They're going to be like, well, didn't I do this in your name? And didn't I do that in your name? And blah, 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 blah. Worker of iniquity. Not only that, she's in uniform. She said she saw another police officer and was like, I like to see officers safe. What? Where was your heart and compassion for your own people? This is what the problem is with me. The white folk ain't got an issue receiving love. That's not the real problem with the racism thing. The problem is Zion is being overlooked. His chosen people are being trodden down, and then as they're down, being expected to love on everybody that kick them and spit on them. That's the false narrative that Christianity produced in our people for generations. Just like the damage of Bishop Eddie Long. Because in his congregation, no one spoke out against his sodomy practices. And you know how things get through to our people. You know how fast stuff run through the grapevine. There were so many people of his congregation who were actually coming for Brother Rohi Nabi, rebuking that brother, talking about, you're crazy, and that man passed away. Where did we get the sense to respect the dead from? But where did we get that from? What respects do the dead get? When we understand that we're not our flesh. We're beyond this. We're beyond this veil. So how are you honoring or respecting somebody when their veil goes to the dirt from whence it came? That's what I'm saying. It's this kind of ignorance that is becoming agitating to live amongst. It's really becoming a problem. To see such sisters on her way to duty, telling me she ain't have no gas, she was low on mileage, but you a whole cop though. So you mean to tell me Master not taking care of you, but you cried because a white cop asked, could he pray with you? And you felt, I felt tremblings. I felt tremblings. Don't you think you feel something when you in the acts of fornication? Or how about when you feel something when you drinking up to the point where you don't need to be drunken? Like, what is feelings though? That's not love. Love is keeping the commandments of the Most High. Now that's love. But the world thought they had a better idea. They said, let us build a name for ourselves and another way for us to get to heaven. And they had been updating that idea throughout generations and centuries, and has done nothing but complete damage and destruction to the creation of the Most High. 2 Samuel chapter 24. And again, it says, and again, the anger of Ahiah was kindled against Israel. And he removed David against them to say, go, number Israel and Judah. For their king said to Joab, the captain of the host, which was with him, go now through all the tribes of Israel, from Dan even to Beersheba, and number ye the people. Notice he started with Dan. That I may know the number of the people. And Joab said to the king, now Ahiah thy Ishi, add unto the people how many soever they be. You see that? He is the one that brings the increase. That's where life comes from. He is the one that causes the wounds to be closed. He is the one that brings forth life. And he's also the one that takes life. Okay? And 100-fold, and that the eyes of my master, the king, may see it. But why doeth my master, the king, delight in this thing? Notwithstanding, the king's word prevailed against Joab. Anyway, go do what I say. And against the captains of the host. And Joab and the captains of the host went out from the presence of the king to number the people of Israel. And they passed over Jordan and pitched in Aor, on the right side of the city that lieth in the midst of the river of Gad, and toward Jazer. Then they came to Gilead and to the land of Taphmashadai, and they came to Dan-John and about Zidon, and it came to the stronghold of Tyre, and to all the cities of the Hivites and the Canaanites, and they went out to the south of Judah, even to Beersheba. So when they had gone through all the land, they came to Jerusalem at the end of 9 months and 20 days. You see how long it took them to count? And Joab gave up the sum of the number of the people unto the king, and there were in Israel 800,000 vigilant men that drew the sword, and the middle of Judah were 500,000 men. And David's heart smote him after that he had numbered the people. And David said unto Ahiah, I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now I beseech thee, O Ahiah, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. For when David was up in the rising, the word of Ahiah came unto the prophet Gad, David's seer, saying, Go and say unto David, Thus saith Ahiah, I offer thee 3 things, choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee. So Gad came to David and told him, and said unto him, Shall 7 years of famine come unto thee in the land? Or wilt thou flee 3 months before the enemies, while they pursue thee? Or that there be 3 days pestilence in the land? Now advise and see what answer I shall return to him that sent me. You only have 3 options of your punishment. So go ahead and advise within yourself of your own decision, and then let me know what's up. And he said, then I'll respond to the Most High. Verse 14, And David said unto Gad, I am in great strait. Let us fall now into the hand of Ahiah, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man. So Ahiah sent the pestilence upon Israel from the rising even to the time appointed. And there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy it, Ahiah repented him of the evil, and said to the angel that destroyed the people, It is enough. Stay now thine hand. And the angel of Ahiah was in the threshing place of Araunah the Jeshurite. And David spake unto Ahiah when he saw the angel that smote the people, and said, Lo, I have sinned, and I have done wickedly. But these sheep, what have they done? Let thy hand, I pray thee, be against me and against my father's house. Remember, we were talking yesterday about responsibility. And this goes to show you, although we're writing and reading about David, who the Most High said he had a heart after the Most High, we see the example of David, that not only did he do wrong, but he showed the heart or the actions of repentance. He said these people didn't do any wrong. He took responsibility. And he never said, well, Father, why did you come upon me? And said, well, what spirit did you send me, Father? How could you do? No, he took responsibility. Unlike Adam, unlike Saul, okay, that's what you would call, that's the heart of Yeshua, our Savior. Father, I'll put on their iniquities. I'll put on their suffering. Let the chastisement of their peace be upon me. When you think about that, there's no reason when you come unto him that you shall allow anything to chastise or steal your peace, which is the fruit of the Spirit. Like I said in the rap, my little freestyle I did with the brother's song, walking in the fruit, got all in me, got all with me. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to be anointed in the fruit. You want to be abundant in it. This is why I've been praying all this week. Each day I hear his whisper say, okay, we're going to work on this one. We're going to work on that one. And guess what? I thank him because he speaks it to me when I'm weak. He sees what I'm dealing with. He sees what we're going through. We ain't the only ones right now with stuff going on. He knows what we have need of before we ask of him. So you know what I want to tell you all a good idea to do? When you pray, begin to thank him for knowing your needs. Say, Father, I thank you that I will definitely have no lack. I thank you that you have provided me peace and joy, and you have provided me a gentle nature and meekness, kindness, and that I'm able to approach adversity as a lamb, and that you will be that roaring wall of defense for me. Understand balance. There's a time and season under everything under heaven. So because we're on earth, we're under heaven, we're in time. Now, if you have become born again, you no longer in time. You actually in purpose. And that's what I was saying with my other video this week, that we're not no longer in time. We're in purpose. And so if we're in purpose, we're all good. Because if we're in purpose, we're doing the work. If we're doing the work, we're going to be found a faithful and good servant of the Most High, not a servant of iniquity. So in verse 17 of 2 Samuel 24, I actually highlighted that, and I just thought that was very admirable of David to simply say, Father, the sheep had nothing to do. That shows that same thing that Yeshaya was saying, which is Ahiah in word in flesh. I am the good shepherd. So even if you look at David's falls, even in David's weaknesses, you can still see Yeshaya's strength, because he said, there where you're weak, I am strong. So can you see his strength in David's weaknesses? Because people love to say, well, he went into his soldiers. People love to magnify the weakness rather than magnify the Savior. And the Savior must be exalted. Yes, the Savior must be honored. Kiss him, right? Lest he be angry. Okay, verse 18. And Gad came that day to David and said unto him, that day, so when David was praying to the Father, that day Gad came. Now this is amazing because part of me, it's got stretching me now and then. My little Zebediah, I was like, Father, because I trusted the Most High to reveal to me my tribe, I asked him as well. I said, Father, what is my baby's tribe, or my children's tribe? And he said to me, Gad. And from the time that Zebediah has been born, when he was planted in me, my scene began to be different. With the other two children, they were prophetic, but with Zebediah, I detected the pregnancy before my mispregnancy. And it was all with the test. Like I was trying to tell my husband, I was like, babe, look at the test. He was like, that's negative. I went, no, but look closer. It was a very, very faint positive. I was like, can't you see? You know what made me look closer? The Holy Spirit said, look closer. The Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, it's in there. So the same faith. Faith will not show up to the natural eye. But faith is substance. It's something the Father can work with. Father doesn't work with what's already manifested because faith's already done that. So he's like, okay, I need something to work with. And during this week, with the things that's been going on, I just been like, Father, and he said, you're in position for a miracle. So whenever heaviness tries to weigh you down, just remember what I said to you and just remember what I've shown you. Stand on my word. And don't be like the heathens which come unto me with repetitive prayers. Father, please help me. Father, please help me. Father, show up. Father. Because that becomes doubt. And I just wanted to share that. All right, when I saw that. So verse 18, and Gad came that day to David and said unto him, go up, rear an altar unto Ahiah in the threshing floor of Araunah, the Jeshurite. And David, according to the saying of Gad, went up as Ahiah commanded. And Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants coming and on toward him. And Araunah went out and bowed himself before the king on his face upon the ground. And Araunah said, wherefore is my master the king come to his servant? And David said, to buy the threshing floor of thee, to build an altar unto Ahiah, that the plague may be stayed from the people. And Araunah said to David, let my master the king take and offer up what seemeth good unto him. Behold, there be oxen for the burnt sacrifice, and threshing instruments, and other instruments of oxen or wood. Now, I want to show you something too, as we were talking about with my discernment through the Father and the woman's video about the little girl hugging. When we look at things through the eyes of the Father, we don't see them the way everybody else sees them. That's what the understanding of his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. That means he sees it in a broader way. We can't be surface-minded. So, though this seems like this man's showing humility and he wants to give David this stuff for free, this has got to cost David. And we're going to see how David handles that. Verse 23, and all these things that Araunah as a king give unto King David, unto King. And Araunah said unto the king, Ahiah thy Ishi, accept thee. And the king said unto Araunah, no, but I will surely buy it of thee at a price. Neither will I offer burnt offerings unto Ahiah my Ishi that which doeth cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. Okay, verse 25. And David built there an altar unto Ahiah and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So Ahiah was entreated for the land, and the plague was stayed from Israel. So we have to understand that our sacrifices, they got to, you got to feel, the release. It's got to cost you something. So you got to be able to, the Most High is not no cheap, like, you know what I mean? Like, the man here is king and is respecting David as king and showing honor, so we can understand that all our men be kings. Look at the honor and the humility that even our kings showed David, even in his mistakes, versus the Americans showing their kings honor and their leaders disapproval. So you can't say that people didn't know that David made a decree against the Most High, but yet they still had honor, just because, you know why? David sold that when he was coming up under the rulership of Saul, his fellow brethren. Though Saul sought to kill him and had envy and jealousy and all that wickedness, he didn't slay that man. He tried to come unto him and be his comfort. And then the Most High eventually dealt with him. So when he, even in his mistake, in his error, not a mistake, but his deliberate rebellion, you can see here the people didn't like overthrow David, let's vote him out and all this old jazz. So that's an example of two manners of people. You see how Jacob, how we move compared to how Esau moved. Esau will throw you under the bus quick, fast, and in a hurry. And not just Esau, but our people who have become profane as Esau, which is shall no wise inherit the kingdom. You don't understand how it began to. I wasn't enraged. Like, I just was like, oh my gosh, like, what's up with this sister? Why, first of all, why are you? And they make, there's a lot more female cops, our black sister cops, than there are brother cops. Like, they love to have the women on the force. I don't understand that. Why do our people like to be the help amongst the kingdom of iniquity? And because they're ignorant. They have begun to hate their people. They have begun to forget who they are. They haven't been told who they were. So, of course, they don't have a need to feel like there's anything to stand by honor for. To them, the police officer is honorable. Thank you for your service. Like, she was crying because she was recognized. Oh, she was like, okay, as a black woman, I won't be recognized. If I put this uniform on, they'll see me. That's a deep-rooted, sick insecurity that is surfacing self-hatred and neglect for oneself. And you wonder why you ain't have no gas and mileage. You mean to tell me working for Mass and you still struggling? Oh, because the curses. You see, our people think that they can run away from the curses of the Most High. And this is why in every opportunity that I can bring this light and my Father's word to, I most certainly do. So let me show y'all this video really quick. It is absolutely sad. It says, stranger covers police officer.
Good morning.
Hold on.
So, I don't normally share moments, certain moments, because I just don't.
Hold on. Before I go through anything else, this was a week ago. It had 61,000 views. Her channel is called Your Living Manna. This is exactly why Most High had led me to this, because you can't be running around talking about living manna and you all the way dead, beloved. Not only dead, but you dead. Like you You in the grave with blindfolds on. You mummified. And this is a problem when we have dead, blinded people being an influence on the rest of our people because their blindness becomes contagious. It's like another COVID. It's like another pandemic we're dealing with. See, our nation, our people need to see beyond COVID-19. Our people need to really sit back for a moment and consider just how sick of a people we've become, just how disadvantaged we are, and what the John Brown's going on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and play the video. What's not important is her picture because I'm gonna just hold the phone down. But just listen at what she's talking about. Okay.
While working, I posted on my Facebook a video that I saw, and the video was of a child appeared to be like a biracial baby, maybe 1 or 2 years old.
That's another thing right there. Biracial baby. Another thing that there's an agenda in their advertisement, ads, an agenda right now that even companies have taken Confederate Union to promote. Biracial baby. Like that's supposed to be cute. Like that's supposed to be, like that's supposed to be the cream of the crop. She got her hair slicked back with like a dirty blonde with a police officer uniform. Sweetheart, you are destroyed on every angle. Your channel is called Living Manna. Maybe the person's Living Manna's channel promoted this video. Maybe. But just listen to her point of views on things. We're going to practice and exercise discernment.
And I don't know if the parents were getting up and leaving, but the child started hugging everybody of every race and ethnicity, every color. And I was like, this is what America is. This is what America should look like. And I have this little statement.
This is what America should look like. A biracial baby. In other words, blended. The father said, 2 nations shall be divided. A little baby who's biracial, of course they would be like going off trying to hug. Because why? Now the dynamic of what the father said it should not be in their home, the divide is causing tension within their home. See, the black individual, I don't know if it's a mother or male, can't lie and say that they're not troubled at the times they're living in. The white one can't relate to it, or Caucasian Edomite can't relate to it. They can't even prepare their child according to the truth. They can't tell. How do you think a white person feels telling their child, hey, and I can't say all don't, because even if they do, still within themselves, they gonna like dilute it. They're gonna come like on a Dana Stevenson type time. Like when I say Dana Stevenson type time, I'm talking about I'm going to comfortably tell you how you should, that you're the devil. Like you got to make sure it's raw and like you can't compromise. You can't play with a deceiver. You can't play with a serpent. You can't. Because see, when you make them think it's comfortable, they're going to just wrap themselves around you and wrap themselves around you and wrap themselves around you. It's like he's addressing white evangelicals. But if he did a proper rebuke, they wouldn't even be called white evangelicals. They need to be called the devil the Bible speaks of. False prophets, false messengers, deceivers. That's what they are. It is time for people to cry aloud and spare not, and lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and to understand that we are in the acceptable year of the Most High. We are no longer allowed to come up short. This kind of stuff here she's talking about, this is what America should look like. This is America. Excuse me? This is the daggone problem. This is the daggone problem. See, when I had the little girls over here who were they're known to be biracial, I said honestly, you're not biracial. You are your father and your mother just carried you. The Father warned against these kind of things. It's against his commandments. I had to tell my husband the same. It's this kind of truth that when you come unto Yeshua, not to Jesus Christ, when you come unto Yasha, as it is written, those that believe on as it is written, there will be variances within the home. No one's going to say, well, you don't have to be insulted. What way can you say it? Truth stands alone. The word of the Most High is sharp. It's a two-edged sword for crying out loud. Don't you think it hurts me to have to tell them? You know the saying when your parents used to beat you, it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. That's like the slave master saying, it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. I know I didn't want to have to sell your daughter. I know I told you I wouldn't do it. But you got to think about the nature of a serpent. If the shoe was on the other foot and they were in their position, we would have been destroyed. If we were their masters and they had the serpent nature, you know how many overthrows and how many revolts we would have had? You know how many times they would have been coming in the middle of the night killing? Seriously. But when it comes to our people, they act like, I am praying that the spirit of the daggone help and the coon be eradicated from our nation. I can't say it enough. Love is not accepting and tolerating every darn thing. You see, the Most High showed you what love was. He will not suffer his people to be victims to murder, to be victims to rape, why else do you think he's bringing vengeance? That was not acceptable to him. Let's listen on.
And on one of my restrooms in my home that says be the change that you want to see. So I shared the video and I put up a caption asking everyone to share and post. And the next person that you see, because racism is taught, just like love is taught. Love is taught and it is felt. But children learn love first when they're given love at such an early age. So with that being said, I shared the video and asked people, like friends that follow me or whatever, share the video, tag it, use that exact caption. The next person you see that isn't the same skin color of you or the same ethnicity of you, give them a hug. Or nice.
We got this woman going off talking about give people a hug who is not the same ethnicity of you in a time where this is Genesis 32 in another form. Jacob going off again. Here it is, Jacob preparing gifts while Esau's preparing war. That's why I came up with a little remix to get your hands off that gospel plow and get your hands on the sword now. And the sword I'm talking about is the word of the Most High. Stop being a servant. Stop shucking and jiving, catching and fetching, court jesting, being the help to a kingdom of iniquity, to a kingdom that is fallen, to the devil and his children and the serpent daggone seed. Stop it. Father, I pray that you shut the mouths of these kind of people up, because see, these kind of people, they are a cancer to creation, right next to the oppressors. And she talking about be the change you want to see. It's some old other new age crap. How you going to be something when you have no understanding on it. So you think by people hugging everybody, that's going to change the heart of that individual? So if a shark's in the water and I go hug the shark, is it not going to bite me? Or how about a crocodile? A piranha? I don't know. A serpent? See, that doesn't make sense when you're dealing with the wild. So we're not going to act like there's not a creature on this earth walking around that's not wild. And because their kingdom is falling, they're getting wilder. You know, the new terms, Karens and whatever the name is for the fellas. What if people who go up and go hug somebody end up start contracting COVID-19 or end up getting injected with some kind of needles? What if we have some silly, crazy, demonic, agenda of people going around purposely, like they were doing in I heard in the early of COVID, contaminating our communities. Meanwhile, this individual was telling people, just go off and hug somebody that's a different race of you. See, this is the problem when you're not tuned into the scriptures and you're not tuned in with the spirit. She's got a lot of blood on her hands because she is speaking in direct rebellion against the Father, and she doesn't even know it. He said for his people to come out of her, my people, lest you take part of their sins. She's telling us, let us blend. That's what you call rebellious witch. Now, she's not this. Guess what? If you speak of rebellion against my Father's word, I'm sorry, you're a witch. Yeah, you're a witch. I didn't know. Guess what? Your rebellion still caused penalty. There's still blood being, just like with even here in 2 Samuel 24. The king in his ignorance wanted to give David over this thing. David was like, oh no, I will pay for whatever I have to, because I must pay. So she's going to have to pay for that. Now listen on to the rest of this folly when she starts discussing about this random white person who wanted to come over and pray with her. And you know what? Abba showed me him holding her hands. She didn't show it in the video, but Abba gave me the vision of this individual holding her hands. Do you understand? She doesn't even know the transference that occurred within that prayer. They are sorcerers.
Gesture or, a compliment. And be the change that you want to see. So, I ran home this morning getting ready to come back and go to my regular shift. And I had low gas in the car. 8:51 I left out of my door. I had low gas in the car and I was like, I can make it to work on this. So then I was like, no, I ain't gonna make it. So I have a gas station right by my house. So I pulled into the gas station, minding my business.
She might be a CEO.
There was a GP unit pulled up.
She might be those women that be at the jail cells. You know, nasty, disrespectful women that when family come to see their loved ones, they want to be taking you through all this extra loops and all these little circus tricks and carrying on. That's what she might be. Now, let's see if she would have, I can already tell from her emotional compassion on how a white man saw her, that if she was the kind of woman working at those jails, if a black brother walked in or a sister or whatever, she wouldn't have a doggone, she wouldn't feel a thing. We went from a biracial baby running around hugging people. The state of rebellion in this country, where the Father says, do not take on to the church. You're going to see the frustration of the Most High. Because we see more and more and more these men taking on these strange women. And sisters taking on these strange men.
Peace, I would like to see any other officer be safe. And I'm pumping my...
Wait, what did she just say? Take it back one time. I would like to see any officer being safe. Not, I would like to see my people being safe. I would like to see any officer. I don't care if he's racist. I don't care if he's Derek Chauvin. I don't care if he wants to rape you in the jail cell. I don't care if he wants to bang your head to the cell. I'd like to see them safe. dangerous, cancer, problem, the help, coon, coonette, rebellious, witch.
Yes. And a guy that's a taxi driver, young guy, it looks like he can be a little bit younger than me. He says, ma'am, he was getting breakfast out of the gas station. He said, ma'am, could I ask you something? So, I'm pumping. I'm like, man, I'm going to be late. I'm always late. But anyway, inside joke. But the young man walked up to me and he said, and he's a young Caucasian guy or what have you. And he said, could I pray for you? And I was just complaining out loud. I was like, man, it's so hot out here. And X, Y, and Z is so hot. Man, it's early to be so hot. And I said, sure, of course. There's never enough prayer. So he said, my sister is a police officer in New Orleans. I didn't ask him a name or anything. He said, I just want to pray for you with time.
Boom. Ma'am, can I pray for you? Sure. My sister's a police officer. Ma'am, I don't see you as a black woman. I only see you because you got a uniform on. If you was over there with no uniform on, pumping gas, complaining, you would have been another loudmouth black woman to him. That's all you would have been. He would have kept it moving. Where was his righteousness? You know where the example is at? The Good Samaritan. How many times have you good old white Christians and black Christians seen or ever thought to show that righteousness, that little good old uppity up Christian attitude to people who you would deem as drug dealers, prostitutes, so, according to the scriptures? Mind you, she said she was complaining. But you just got done sharing a video talking about be the change that you want to be. You just got done trying to be a vessel of positivity, okay, on your Facebook. But then you turn it around and you up here bickering and complaining. The most I can't stand a murmuring complainer. You complain about how hot it is. Girl, there ain't nothing compared to what you going to get in that fire, in that lake, if you going to still be found to be the help when he gets here. Because he's going to spit fire out his mouth.
Times like this, I understand what's going on.
Hold on, I think we skipped over the part. She said, I like to see officers safe. No, devil.
The other officer be safe. And I'm pumping my gas. And a guy that's a taxi driver, young guy, it looks like he can be a little bit younger than me. He says,
But she said another J something officer rode by, and I like to see officers be safe. What was even the relevant? So when we talking about cops, we talking a tasteful manner. But you got a distaste for the very creation of the sun that the Father provided for you. The sun shall not spite you by day, nor shall the moon spark by night. You ain't getting no burns, are you? You ain't getting cancer. So what did the sun do to you, though? You over here complaining about creation, but you see a cop ride by, you're like, oh, I want to see him say, girl, your perception is all the way off. You are all the way destroyed. And this is the kind of mindset that America has builded. This is the distaste that the Father has. When he looks down, this is what he sees. What? If the police officers' uniforms were still according to the original paddy wagoners, you just would have been like on the Harriet Tubman video. You would just been that brother who was on the side with the old guy who was trying to get her back, the slave master guy. You just would have been the help back then. Like that. This is what I see y'all cops as. I don't have any respect for you, for our people who are police officers whatsoever. I don't give a John Brown how many lives you saved, or I don't care. Because you know what it is with them? It's blue before anything else. How many of our black and brown brothers and sisters walked away from police forces and threw up the towel when it came to them seeing what happened with George Floyd? How many of them stood up for integrity and honor? How many of them stood up for their family rather than talking about some stupid taking knees and all some nonsense? Oh, because when they see Yasha come, they won't try to jump on the bandwagon, but the wagon's going to be full of fire. Nonsense.
Ma'am, he was getting breakfast out of the gas station. He said, ma'am, could I ask you something? So, I'm pumping. I'm like, damn, I'll be late. I'm always late, but anyway, inside joke. But the young man walked up to me and he said, and he's a young Caucasian guy or what have you, and he said, could I pray for you? And I was just complaining out loud. I was like, man, it's so hot out here. And X, Y, and Z is so hot. Man, it's early to be so hot. And I said, sure, of course. There's never enough prayer. So he said, my sister is a police officer in New Orleans. I didn't ask him a name or anything. He said, I just want to pray for you with times like this. I understand what's going on. I understand what's going on with the difference in the races and the racism. And I understand how people look at all officers and it shouldn't be, but I just want to cover you. Immediately, I got chills.
I just want to cover you. This is the real attitude of a Christian church for their criminals, their gangsters in uniform. Oh, Father, please protect the police force. We love the police force. We need them. We need them. Egyptian taskmasters. We need these Roman soldiers. What do you need them for? They're not riding through your communities. They're not harassing you all. They're not raping you all. They're not joining with the KKK against you all. So of course you want to cover cops. Of course you want to pray and give alms and send some donuts and some flowers and all that jazz. Like we had earlier in this year, that funny little white police officer girl who went to the drive-thru and somebody was like, hold on just a minute. And she began to cry at the McDonald's because her order was being long. I can't believe this. I just want to get something to eat and I cannot believe this is so wrong. You didn't even say thank you for my service. The privileged standards that she was expecting, she didn't get, and she was mad because people were beginning to have a distaste for cops in America. But they love to promote these token brown faces. I wouldn't put it past, that's another thing. Thank you, Father, for that reminder. He also wanted me to let it be known that when you see these random ads popping up about people talking about Trump and stuff, they ain't none other than military personnel and their moms and their wives talking on the behalf of Trump. That's all that is, because Trump was also pro military. So ain't nobody stupid, y'all. You're not American. You're not the poor average people speaking for the poor average people. Not only that, for the awoken, you can't even speak for us. You're only speaking for your own selves. Nobody cares about Trump. Nobody. The awoken, according to the Most High's quickening spirit, the creators, children do not care about Trump, and we most certainly do not care about Biden. We don't follow what's on the news. We keep our face in these books. We know according to what is written and what time it is. And while y'all running around like a chicken with a cut off head, y'all gonna be the ones taken unawares. Whatever pipe dreaming and false narratives of hopes that these demonic leaders are giving you all, you better expect complete disappointment. Y'all was screaming, make America great again, and it's the worst it's ever been. What makes you think Biden's going to make it any better, or Trump can undo what he ain't even able to fix while he's still in? Y'all need to stop kidding yourselves and look at yourselves genetically, history-wise, and just get a second look in the mirror. You have nothing to be proud of. Your threats hold no weight. Nobody's paying y'all no mind. We in the secret place. And all you coonettes and you coons out here, shucking and jiving, catching and fetching, you're going to get just exactly what you deserve. Yeah, it may seem like, notice she said she was complaining about the sun. So that means she was in an agitated state. But for a Caucasian, she put herself in subjection. She immediately went back to the, yes, boss, you want to cover me? Oh, my goodness. Sunday biscuit with a gravy. That's what that was. You mean to tell me this Sunday I get gravy with my biscuit? With your low mileage, with your over mileage and with no gas? I thought she was gonna say he was gonna pay for her gas.
This man prayed over me.
Prayed over me.
And I got chills immediately.
That same nonsense that you feel when you're in the Christian church, people running around, acting the fool, okay? And they put their hand on you, make you fall back. They try to push me back. I bumped right back. Don't you push me on that floor. Because if I fall on the floor, I'm telling you, I'm going to come up quicker than you ever thought. I'm going to show you resurrection power. Father, she said, I got chills. Because the spirit of death was transferred. The Most High sealed you with that foolishness. That's right, y'all. That's right. Go ahead. Because I'm the one. I'm the one that's going to rightly pull out all the foolishness within this video. Anything that you people want to say, what is she saying wrong? What is the problem? She's just being positive. Somebody wanted to cover her in prayer. Again, I say, there's a group of people on this earth who the Creator hates. He hates. He has not dealt with and he will not deal with. What made them qualified to be praying? What you basically saw right there was her Genesis 32. Notice, because Jacob, we all come from Jacob, we all gonna have to pass our Genesis 32. We're gonna all have to prove to the Most High, if we haven't already, that we're not going to put our trust in Esau, that we're going to put our trust in the Most High. And if we don't, you're going to be like that untimely fig, shaken like by a mighty wind. Because you're putting your bearing arms and trust in the enemy. He said, I would have that you neither be, because you're neither hot or cold, I'm going to spew you out of my mouth. You are a direct disgust to him. He can't stomach you. See, even the Creator, Yeshua, the true Savior of the world, black man, a austere, melanated man, cannot stand coons either. Hence, his spirit, which lives inside of me, has given me the pair of eyes to see this kind of stuff. I don't see things the way the world sees things. I don't move and when I'm amongst the public the way the public moves. I don't think the way the public thinks. I don't hear things the way they hear. And I won't speak the way they speak either. Because if you can see, you can see. You're not bumping and stumbling, toppling over foolishness.
I gave him a hug, even due to the COVID-19. I gave him a hug because I realized how God was working. God spoke. He spoke to me last night, and I shared that video. And he spoke to me. He showed me how the power of tongue and prayer. And I was being the example that I want to see.
Wait a minute. What example were you being? While you were at the gas station complaining. He saw your uniform, boo-boo. Stop. I'm going to need you to stop. I was being an example. Oh, ma'am, you're such an example. Pray for me. Did he say pray for me? Because you got some righteous fruit. I liked your righteous fruit. No, my sister's a cop in Louisiana. So can I cover you in prayer? How do we know he's praying for her? With her in her hands? He wasn't praying for his sister. Or he wasn't. That prayer that proceeded to be a blessing, just like in Genesis 32, was a curse unto her. He said they will be snares unto you. Behold, I lay before you blessings and cursing. The only way you're going to receive life, melanated people that's over here, the descendants of slaves, is if you do what the Creator told you to do. You're not getting around that. And God had spoke to me last night. But this happened today. Yes, the devil does speak. This is why when I hear a word that makes me trouble in my spirit, I wait for confirmation before I move. And God is a dead entity, okay? But guess what? Look how many people follow God. They're not looking for the great I am. They're not looking for the creator. They're not looking for the one of the covenant, according to as is written. They're leaning to their good old fashioned own understandings. I felt something. I was trembling because see, I was an example. But you was complaining about the sun, how hot it was just too early. It's too hot for this and that too used to get on my nerves. I used to always be grateful for the summer. And if it's hot, then simply find a way to cool yourself off. But shut up, because the sun sends off positivity. You receive nutrients from the sun. You get a nice tan or whatever. You get a nice shade, bronze or whatever have you. Girl, shut your mouth up. Because if the sun wasn't shining for somebody, you'd be complaining about that. It's also in Proverbs 30. You just never content with anything. You just never have enough.
Back to me fold. I didn't see it coming.
Got to be fold.
I was gonna drive all the way to work with low mileage, low gas. But I stopped there, and if I didn't stop there, I would have missed my blessing. That was that same credit I put out 2 something this morning. It came right back to me 6 hours later.
Get right back to me.
So be mindful what you pray on, and when your heart is pure, your blessings always turn right back around.
So a white man covering you as a cop is a blessing. That's exactly what Jacob thought he was getting over there in Genesis 32, wrestling with that being. That's the same thing Jacob thought when he ended up having his hip injured and renamed as Israel. When the Most High said in Isaiah 43, "You are my servant. I formed you. I named you." Where you get that from? The Most High had his Samuel and Saul moment with Jacob. Bro, what is you talking about? I named you upright. I didn't name you Israel. I named you Jeshurun. I formed you to be upright in the womb. This is why you were fighting your brother. You see, Esau's been fighting since he was in the womb. That's all Esau know is fight, war. That's all he understands. So how can one who only understands war and destruction be able to bless? How can one who speaks cursing be able to bless? Most High said, I didn't form him for that. So you going to call me a liar? Or you going to test me? So you can figure it. This is why you're afraid. This is why you in fear. This is why you ain't got nothing, because you giving it over to this one. See what God has done to our people. See what Christianity has done to our people. See what these false ways have done to our people. I felt chills. Still working for the devil. What did you feel when George Floyd said he couldn't breathe? Or Sandra Bland? Or Breonna Taylor? Emmett Till? Come on. What did you feel then, beloved? Why are you talking to us about some stupid cop that rode by you like to see cops saved and some funny character, Edomite, want to come praying with you with his hand, holding hands in the time of COVID? And I gave him a hug during COVID-19. Girl, he just could have came out that bathroom clean, wiped his behind with something and said, I'm going to pass it. He could be a white supremacist acting like he wants to pray for you. Don't you understand the nature of Esau? No, our people don't. They don't. They don't. And you know what? Abba got a mark on all y'all coons out here. He got a mark on. He put a Ezekiel 9:4. Y'all got a mark on y'all. He can spot a coon a mile away, boy. A mile away. They just not gonna learn till it hit them in the face, till it's too late. And I gotta be the bad person. I gotta be the negative, the devil, and the mean girl, and because I can see right through this, through my Father's spirit. Grand Risings, born Savior. Oh, this is early. Yes, rising the highest righteous. Okay, I'm up also working from home and just had this comment. All praises. I actually came on because I don't know. Abba woke me up at 3 a.m. and I laid in the bed and just conversed with him. Then I came downstairs just to, because I was hearing as though there was someone like moving around my house. And I just came, and lady was up too, so I just came downstairs because she needed to use the bathroom or whatever like it. And I heard this remix to Lightspeed by Brother Director Bar, and I just had to throw my little John on there. And I said, up early, like, what's up? By my Father's business, now you know I'm not with the blood. Wait, not with the blood. In other words, I heard the song, started writing rap to that. Then Abba was like, let's go. Because I remember in this dream, I don't remember. It was a C word. I'm not sure if it was challenge or completion. I can't quite remember. I was going to bring it to me, but it was something, I believe it was like something where I know it wasn't negative. It was, well, not negative, but I know it wasn't, he just let me know covered. Like, he's got me because he knows what the certain things are going on with me right now. And the enemy is trying to trouble me, but I'm going to continue to be persistent for him. It doesn't matter what time it is, where I'm at, what I got to do, And what's amazing, I didn't get to tell you all. What is amazing is that this on the 7th day, this past 7 days from the day I went to Harriet's location, Abba let me know that when he had me laying on my back, I actually heard my spine and my back lining up, like he was fixing things. Okay. Fixing things in my back. And then when I got up, it wasn't my natural eyes, but it was like a little gleams. Like it's not the stars, but they were like little pure white lights slowly moving. And so what he let me know was I cleared up some things so that you can see me better and that you can hear me better. So, and he also let me know that we went backwards. So Harriet reached Pennsylvania for freedom, but he had me go to her location where she heard from him. And the first place we went to was the store where she got hit in the head by the weight. So she got hit and began to hear him, but he aligned and fixed things within me so that I can hear him. So, and then he let me know, you're going to be like unto Harriet. But then that Sabbath rising, he spoke and said, but you're doing this for souls. This train's going to be on grounds. Okay, so we're doing this a different way. He just kept saying, we're doing this for souls. We're doing this for souls. I'm like, all praises, Abba, all praises, And it was actually the week of the day that we went to Harriet's that the Shalise and Tali was able to come over. And my daughter was playing with them and sharing with them, being like me when I was little. I used to witness or share the good news, even in elementary school. And my face lit up. I was so thrilled and overcharged with joy that my baby girl was, I told her, I said, you're not going to be able to be a light unto them. You don't need to be with them. You don't need to be their friend, because in everything, the Most High must get the glory. And I had the movie on as I was cooking because the girls love my chicken and rice and stuff. So I made their favorite little meal, and they came down and said, we want to watch Harriet. I already had it on for them. But then we stopped the movie because I wanted to read with them, and they wanted to hear more about the word. They didn't want to watch the movie. So I'm like, all praises, And Tylee, the baby, her mom calls her Channel 8 News because she is like Zion. They're kind of kids where something ain't right, they're going to speak out on it, speak up on it, and they're going to, some people say they think they're grown or try to correct adults, but some children are just, their gifts have to be taught. They have to be groomed. You have to recognize what you have in your children and appropriately train them accordingly, because even with Joseph, Jacob knew that he was going to be something, whatever. So the Most High had him teaching him Egyptian languages in the tents. Then he ended up going to Egypt. But hold on, let me use the. I'm gonna have a break real quick and use the restroom because I've been drinking a lot of juice. Like to handle some business. All right, so I'll play a song. I'll play the remix again from Lightspeed. This song is lit. Okay. Sculpting. Oh, you're sculpting. Yes, exactly. Sculpting. Come on. Because he's the main motor, but we assist him in the sculpting of our children. Right?
The book of Daniel,
Look at
chapter
the
12,
remix.
verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered. Yo, Gerard, you know what time it is, fam? It's time to turn up for this unity challenge. You know how we move it. And we move at light speed. You can't hear what you can't see. My Akis move at light speed. Long as I'm living, I'm a labor. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Put in the work. Tunnel vision never in reverse. My Akis move at light speed. I move too fast to compete. I can do this in my sleep. Wake up and write down what I see. Light speed. Back in the building, I'm with Bandit Loose. We gon' push this unity like we supposed to. The Messiah made us free, so we gon' tell the truth. In the spirit, bear witness, you know that we them bruised. Keep a sword on me. Perilous times. Four horsemen mounting up, I can tell it is time. No matter what they offer, I won't compromise. Why would I do that when I see all the signs? Put the Father first in whatever I do. Keep them serpents guessing, don't ever tell them your moves. Keep some oil in your lamp, it's time to show and prove. We study the prophets, not what's on the news. It's looking like the days of Noah again. Babylon, Egypt, Sodom, and Gomorrah again. They say the truth hurts, we gon' bring the pain in the Savior's name. Light speed, we leveled up, we couldn't stay the same. Bring it out. And we move at light speed. You can't hear what you can't see. My Akis move at light speed. Long as I'm living, I'm a labor. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Put in the work. Tunnel vision never in reverse. My Akis move at light speed. I move too fast to compete. I can do this in my sleep. Wake up and write down what I see. Light speed.
Oh, Bird is like, what's up? Buy my father's business and I'm not with the bluff. Oh, keep it lit with the oil in me. When I'm trying to tell you, know I'm gonna keep it lit. But keep it lit with the oil on. Walking in the fruit of spirit cause the call on. Yeah, walk with me. And he talk with me cause he rock with me. Yeah, and the purpose not in time. Got the oil on so you know I'm gonna shine. Glory of the Almighty. Yeah, it's Zion time. So just shine for me. Oh, that's my little version. I think it was like a challenge, so he gave beats. So I was like, I'm gonna put my little joint on the beat. Okay. Black people are the white people of creation until they come back to it. Come on, brother. That's what I was saying. Until they come back to the covenant, exactly high. That's right. And by default, their purpose is served. Exactly, by default, exactly. And obey the white man and are not to be trusted. Exactly. This is why I noticed through the stages of where the Most High was pulling me from. I wanted, like flesh wanted to be a part of it. But spirit was like, no. I'm gonna need you to come up hither. I need you to come up hither. I need you to come up hither. And see, that's the same with the seeds of righteousness was planted in my righteousness. Because how else can you come out? He's got to speak to you in where you are. And if you don't hear, he said, my sheep hear my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. So that means when he speaks, his sheep are going to hearken. Say what, Father? Say no more. I'm out of this. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, if it's not, understand us being black for so long and saying it in rebellion and rebellion, we we don't have the might in our hand. This is why the Most High blessed Esau with the sword. He's like, in case you try to rise up in your own strength, you're going to get bucked back down. You're going to realize I'm the only way. Period. Ezekiel 9:4. Check this one out. And Ahiah said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. Basically, go through where his people was at. And Jerusalem is the dwelling of his people, all right? And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Set a mark on them. Crying in this regards is like John the Baptist, the voice in the wilderness, the voice crying out in the wilderness. So cry in this word, like Jeremiah is a weeping prophet, or lamentation is, in other words, saying, I'm yelling, I'm pleading, I'm wrestling with you to get it right. These are the warnings. These are the children. You know what I'm saying? All right. So those that are speaking on the behalf of the Father through crying and sighing and pleading, and not just crying, like repent, like that funny character was, repent, but showing the fruits of repentance. You see, I don't even have to open my mouth when I go in the stores. They see a change on me. They know I'm not like the rest of them. When we went in Maryland and I walked in the store and the way I was dressed, this one sister had a shirt on talking about F off with these tight tights on. I'm not trying to be like I was self-righteous. I just was like, I'm telling you, my Father has sealed my eyes where the things I see it how he sees it. And I just was like, that's a shame. This is unfortunate, sister. You should not be looking like this. So guess what? My adorning rebuked her. If I was disgusted in what she was wearing, she was surely convicted in what I was wearing. Then when we rode down the road somewhere, happened to see her down at a wine and spirits, getting out the car seat in the back seat. I was just like, it's just like, it doesn't matter what landmass of soil we go to. It's the same iniquity and the same sin amongst our people. And it troubles my spirit and it hurts my heart. Right? Okay. So they sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, which means they're upset about what's going on because they understand that there's penalty going to be for this. Wherever you see sin, bloodshed, it's consequences. All right. And to the others, he said in mine hearing, basically the ones who are not crying and sighing, who are causing the abominations, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. So this shows you, this is precept that we don't have no sympathy for the wicked when they die, or pity for them, because there were calls and calls and calls, chances and chances and chances that the Most High basically tried to reach them and they didn't listen. He said, verse 6, slay utterly, old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. For judgment must first begin in the house of Israel. Right? Then they begin at the ancient men which were before the house. So it says, this decree has been back from generation to generation. This ain't nothing that's new. Basically, this has been set before we even came about. So in each generation, if you're not amongst those crying and sighing, you're going to be slayed utterly. If you're not marked, because trust and believe me, it's a spiritual marking and it's a spiritual decree. Though the death manifests in the physical, you don't see when the angel, but you're going to, because I don't know if that dream was because he gave me a certain level of certain things, or if it's going to manifest. But I think within the dream, like I said, it was people, we were like in a field somewhere, and there's a lot of people on my left-hand side. And I saw two angels, they're brothers. They just looked, they were regular. One had a low cut, medium complexion. The other one was a little darker. And they just looked, they were average brothers. And then the decree of the Most High must have went forth, like the switch must have went in them, and they just slayed everything on the left-hand side. I'm talking about like two of them killed by like multitudes within seconds. They didn't say nothing. Wasn't no sound. They just, and people on my right side was all frightened. So they must have seen it. Or maybe they just saw the death. But I said, I know what y'all are. I said, yo, everybody on the right, don't be afraid. Calm down, calm down. They're doing the Most High's work. This is work of the Most High. I said, this is for the wicked. They was wicked. You can't be mad, you know. And the one brother said to me, let me see your hands. And I showed him my hands, and he was like, the one angel said to the other one, we got to intervene for her a little bit more. And then they walked off. That's all I remember in the dream. But I used my right hand like as holding people back. Now, I didn't have enough strength. Like, they wasn't trying to fight because they didn't want to go into what was going on. They were like just frightened. But I tried to be like, peace, like, you know, be still. It's going to be okay. Because they're doing what the Most High told them to do. And it's just like, unfortunately, a lot of people perish. A lot of people are going to perish. They're not getting it. They're just not getting it. Verse 7, he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth. When he said defile the house, that means fill it with blood. He didn't want them to kill. He said, I want you to make it bloody, a bloody scene. I am so tired of the iniquity. As their wickedness and their iniquity has become full, so shall you fill the house with their blood. And fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, Ah, sovereign Ahia. Now, I believe in the dream what caused them to say, let me see your hands, is because I'm not going to hold you. Those angels were attractive. So at first, the nature of flesh in me was like, oh, they fine. So I was lusting after them slightly. And that's why I believe they said, let me see your hands. Oh, your hands ain't all the way pure. We're going to have to intervene, pray for you. In other words, there's another one of your little people out there on the earth, Father. You might need to really get with her because she got some stuff going on. And listen, family, it's honest. It's truth. There are things that the Most High will show us that we need to work on. And we have to thank him for that. And when he shows us these things, it's better to be in this stage, to be like, oh, Father, help me with this, than to be in the heavens or be out of the body and he show you these things and you're not able to repent. So I thanked him for that because he's given me 2 dreams. The first one, I believe it was Yeshaya, where because the guy looked young. He was black, and mind you, well, not black, he was melanated. And this was in the time I was a Christian. And I told my mom that. But this house that he was in was a house that we weren't living in yet, but we were eventually moved to. And the door was wide open. And the house was on a mountain called Mount something, but it was like a mountain, like in the Bible, some biblical name place that I actually helped my mother get. And my mom and I was like out in the streets. We had people walking behind us. Basically, we was like going out to witness, and we was trying to bring the people to our house for like Bible study. And it had to be Yeshaya he had a white robe on, like a white garment. And he had, this brother had locks in his hair, okay? Like medium length, okay? And he came down the stairs because if you at the bottom of the steps, like if the door's open, you can see the steps in the house up to the house, like the second floor from the door being open. So we see him walking down the steps, but he was bare feet. So I saw the feet first, the brown feet. Then he came outside, and I was like, Jesus, master, whatever. And he looked at me. He was like, don't call me master. You need to get your heart right. You need to get your heart right. And in that time in Christianity, like living with my mother in the place where I was at in that place in my life, I was very angry with her, bitter with her, a lot of wicked stuff, a lot of things I was doing. So I seen twice in a dream. Once him telling me to get my heart right, and then hands. Oh, we need to intervene for her. So a clean heart and pure hands. We got to have a clean heart and pure hands. And so in my dreams, he gave me those warnings. That's why I thanked him for warning me through dreams. And I remember there was another time that my mother and I got in an argument. And I cried. I was crying. I was like, Father, I'm tired of disobeying her. Like, I'm tired of arguing with her, like letting her get me to this point. I was crying so hard that he let me have, like, I had a vision where I was at the feet of the throne, the steps, and I was crying before him, like I had on. It had to be sackcloth, like it like a sack of potatoes. I was wearing a sack of potatoes or dirty garments. And the next thing I know, I received a white garment, and I thought I was gonna be able to stay there. I thought that was it for me, but then he was like, "No, we gotta go back. Finish your thing." So basically, he was like, "I see that you don't like disobeying me. I see that you're tired of these things. But unbeknownst to me, I didn't, because I didn't have the truth. I wasn't able to righteously see her for who she was." And so, shortly after that, I began to, like, the Most High had me up like around 3 a.m. And I saw the video with IUIC and them brothers with all purple on and gold talking. I was listening, but at the same time, I was hearing what they were saying about the Bible, scriptures, but my spirit just was like something wasn't right about them. And so I went to sleep, and then he woke me back up like around 4. And his face came to me like that, like it was a smoke figure, like not smoke, but it was like a cloud figure, but dark, of him coming to my face. And I heard him call my name to the point where my whole body quaked. Like my whole body was like, attention. Like I was basically out of a sleep state. I believe that was my Ezekiel 37 moment. And he said, the transfer is about to take place. And I was like, first I was in awe, like, you're talking to me? To the point where I was stuck in that. Then after he said the transfer is about to take place, he went away. Then I always used to say, well, what is a transfer? What do you mean transfer? The transfer? It wasn't until I found Brother Roy Nabi, like the video I showed you about Bishop Eddie Long. And what he was saying was, I'm transferring you from the congregation of the dead to the living. So you see the processes in that, the steps in that. So if you are an individual that could possibly be still saying YHWH, what you've been watching, and you're like, wow, and you're kind of going back and forth, all you have to do is say within yourself to the Father, hey, Father, can you please open my eyes? Can you please allow me to receive the quickening of your spirit? Fill me with your spirit. Because that's another thing I did in this beginning. After I got baptized, I said, Father, can you fill me with your spirit? You said if I need anything to ask. So because I don't know for sure if I have your spirit, even if I did in Christianity at this particular time, I said, I want to just start over again. And I chose to say, okay, I will allow you to make me over, and fill me with your spirit. And he did. And guys, I haven't been let down ever since. So you need his spirit. You need his help. And you most certainly must appreciate your weak moments and your stage of sleep, that though you were like, you heard this and you had experiences with Yahuwah or whatever, it was him. It wasn't you. It was him who kept you. If it is meant for you to come unto him, because he does not show himself unto everyone. All right, verse 8 in Ezekiel 9. And it came to pass while they were slaying them, I was left, and that I fell upon my face and cried and said, sovereign Ahiah, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? So this is the prophet saying, is everybody going to die? And it goes to show you wickedness is always in large numbers. Like, it's always a few righteous. I mean, it was only Noah and 8 people that got on the ark. Noah's family was only 8. They made it. Verse 9, then he said unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, Ahiah has forsaken the earth, and Ahiah seeth not. So they took his grace period for an opportunity pass to sin continually. And this is what we see today. Our people and the nations have thought that because things were peachy cream, internal testimony and growth, most people in our nation don't talk. Exactly. It is very informative. And I feel it's necessary. And it could be a tool to help someone, you know? People love to share the things that make them look good or always, what make them feel like, yeah. But put your crap on the front line. Stop acting like your stuff don't stink. You know what I'm saying? Because if your ugly could be a seed in someone else's ugly to help them get out, then it's counting righteousness unto you. Because that was used for someone to get to see the light, to find that they're not filthy, their filth is not beyond his grace, or that their shortcomings is not too big for him, or is not bigger than him. There's nothing hard with him. All you have to do is have faith and trust him. I'm not talking about God through Christianity. I'm talking about the great I am, the living one that is and was and is to come. That's who I'm talking about. Verse 10, and as for me, also my eye shall not spare, neither shall I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their own head. And behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded me. Basically, this was the same one that was marking came and said, I'm done marking people. So there was one marking while the other ones was slain. As he marked, they knew who to avoid. I remember hearing that from that one character named Gabriel. Because he kept saying to me, your mind is so on the Most High. He was like, you got it, girl. He was like, if it were possible, the elect will not be deceived, right? See, the enemy, oh my gosh, family, it makes me so mad for so many people. He knows how to slither that tongue, but if you pay attention, you will get clues of the Father. The truth that they throw at you fast while swarming you with lies, if you hold on to that truth, you're right. We cannot be deceived. I'll stand on that. Now I'm going to check you, see where your deception's at. Where are you coming with this? Oh, you're speaking against the scriptures. Oh, that's it. Whew. Just like that. Not a wink of an eye. It said, don't you know ye not that we shall judge the angels? How much more in this life? How much more in this life? But I'm hearing a lot of people wanting to be singing about angels and praising angels and praying to angels. I don't know, family. Genesis. Let me see. And then I'm going to go ahead and get myself ready for my lovely preparation day. Sometime, because we're a little family, and like the things that most I have us on through the week, we'll have more food left over than we need. I find myself not having to make much food for Shabbat because I'll be having food left over. That's why I was going through the cabbage yesterday. When you have a lot of stuff, flesh will be like, complain that, oh my gosh, I got all this stuff. I gotta do something with it. But spirit, I was like, you know what, Father? I thank you that you have been able to change my perception, that rather than complain about, oh, I got to deal with this stuff, that I have more of what I need than what I don't need. I thank you that you blessed me enough that my problems are really not problems, they're blessings. All I got to do is organize my blessings, All right, so he wants us to start back in 14. I don't think we finished it. Oh, yeah, we didn't finish in 14. Okay, you know what I'm saying? What was I saying? We were in 15. Because we're talking about his heir. Okay. Fathers and peace. Okay, but the fourth generation shall come. Okay, we read that in the same day I made covenant with Abraham, saying, so let's see. Okay, we read that. Nice. And rights, Canaanites, and Jezreelites, and Jezebel. Okay, so we're in Genesis 16, actually. All right, bet. All right, Genesis 16. Let me turn this heat up a bit because it's got my feet cold. Yeah, it's on 60 something and it still ain't hot. Mm-hmm. All right, family. So we're going to be in Genesis 16, okay? Sorry, lady. Thank you for not distracting me. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold now, I have restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go on and unto my handmaid, my maid, it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarah. He should have prayed. First of all, she shouldn't have got impatient and spoke against the Most High. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. She's like, oh, she had a baby, huh? Not only was she despising the mistress, but she probably was despising the Most High, too. Because you're like, well, where's my child? But see, you already spoke against the Father. So that's your reward for the lack of your faith. Now a corruptible seed has come forth. Just like with Eve. Disobeying. Now you got a seed that the Most High said shall be against the woman's seed, which was her original seed. Forever. Verse 5, and Sarah said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid unto thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. I had judged between me and thee. He already did. That was the judgment. But Abram said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. So she was putting on the bondage, probably pregnant. Oh, you pregnant? I don't care. Pick up this, here, that, and the third. Sarah was giving her attitude. Sarah was being nasty with her. Sarah. And the angel of Hiah found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarah's maid, whence camest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of Hiah said unto her, return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Yesterday after I got off live, the first video I did in rebuking Jedi, so many things is coming at me at once. Had a lady in here at the same time out of nowhere thought she was going to be poop. I'm talking about not just one poop, but she pooped in like 4 different areas. And then she proceeded to give diarrhea in my father's set apart place. Zebediah was in the background screaming. My husband texting me a bunch of irrelevant stuff. I mean, it was nice, good news. Okay, I said, okay, beloved, I'm doing the Father's work. That mean that, you know what I'm saying? But we just kept texting. And I'm like, My daughter sleep on the couch. I told him, get up, you're supposed to be doing your steps. I ran to the shed. I just walked outside. First of all, I put Lady in a little cage, set Lady outside. I said, this is it. This is it. You will not be in my house, in my father's room, pooping in a set apart place. You're going outside. That's it. And I ran to the shed and I was like, Father, I can't take it anymore. These children, everything's against me. Where are you? I said, you being here for me. I'm fighting for you and everything's coming against me. And just in a soft tone, he said, Hadassah, go back to the children. You can't act like that. It's going to be all right. Temperance. And I came back inside. I was like, oh, Father told me go back. You ought to be glad. Because I was like, I'm tired of this. Zion, bless his heart. He was the only one trying to, war with me, because as I was on live, the Most High instructed for us to be on a fast. And so Zebediah wanted to go in the refrigerator. And Zion is like the prophet police, okay? You ain't supposed to be in this refrigerator. Shut the door. Get out this refrigerator. And if like we're reading the scripture or something, and I'll say something, he'd be like, charisma. I'll be like, science, stop. You ain't be doing that. Come here. He hitting me, Mom. So, in other words, Zion was trying to assist and enforce the Most High's word. And then because of, I came back and I said, okay. Then I was texting Robert because he was like, I want to come back home. And I'm like, this is a distraction. See, the issue of you is not about being home. The issue is you needing to understand what my responsibility is and to not hinder me. If you're not going to assist me, you're daggone it not going to hinder me. That's what you will not do. Don't be adverse if you can't help it. Like that's the problem that some people do. I'm not trying to slander or disrespect my husband. What I'm just simply saying is it's like if you can't help, don't hurt me. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like seriously, like you mean to tell me something's more important than you other being? You understand that you want to call yourself Jonah? So be it. I'm not in that type time. I'm about my Father's business. It ain't fair if I want to do the work and you don't, and you take your insecurity or whatever your issues is and use that because you feel some kind of way to hide your shame. When you were home and helping with the children, you were entering into my life like we were a team. Like I don't understand, And so when he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come home," I'm like, "Oh, praise to the Father. That's what's up." Boom, I knew that the Most High would, turn things around. You know what I mean? Boom. But I'm doing something right now, and I'm in the midst of war. It's like, does it make any sense? Like you're a man of the military, you should understand the tactics of war. Like when we're on the field, we don't need to be distracted, and it may proceed to come off like, oh, she's gonna look at her kids, or she's me. No, I'm in another mindset. I'm not their mom at that time. I'm a whole soldier. Like I have to be focused. I cannot afford to be in spirit and be disturbed in flesh. And I was upset. Baby girl was asleep on the couch. Zebediah screaming. Zion's the only one trying. I'm like, this is absurd. So I extended through the spirit. We extended a fast unto them. Zebediah and Hephzibah got an extra hour of fasting. And then Abba said, get these books out of the house. So when we began to burn houses, then again, I told Zion, back up. See, Zion, when he was born, the Spirit told me to tell the lady, when the babies get their hearing test, for some reason, the Holy Spirit told me to tell her, when he gets his hearing test, you come get me. I don't know why, but I told her that. She took Zion anyway without me. Holy Spirit led me to the room that was not numbered or whatever to open the door. I opened the door. There she was, having my son be tested. Whatever. I told you to let me come with him when he gets his test. He was failing. He wasn't able. He wasn't able to hear. And when I was there and I began to touch him, I said, Zion, mommy's here. I said, baby, I'm here. I said, I'm here. Then he was passing. Just like when he was in my wound through him being born, it was warfare. And Zion, when my mom began in the name, we got the victory. His heart rate started coming back. So he wasn't this child, Zion, plus his little heart. I understand Zion in the Most High. I understand Zebediah in the Most High, and I understand Hephzibah in the Most High. And I know what I'm dealing with. So in the natural Zion, you would say, oh, he's hard-headed. He don't listen. But he only hearkens and listens when you speak to him in accordance to the word. Like when you you got his undivided attention. But if you talk to him like he ain't like, oh, come here, like, or if it comes in a manner where it's not right, the law of kindness on the tongue, he's not hearkening to you. He's not gonna budge. So he's like my one sent from the Father that's like test me. You just said one child. It's that one child that tests me. He's the one that's the sign from my Father that helps keep me on my toes. He's my little judge. He shows me when I actually get angry with him, it's the Father really telling me, you're not listening to me. I told you about this. I told you. He hearkens to, you got to be spiritual. So there's some children, he already has a diet request. He's very, very picky. Unbeknownst to me, his father is not in the truth, biological, but he never ate pork. His dad never ate pork. And when Kim had tricked us with those egg rolls, she had a wholesale factory because her coon dude, Daryl, had a big bag of egg rolls. And she told me, you want some vegetable rolls? I was like, sure. And I gave some to his dad because at this time he had lost his job. So I was trying to be a blessing to him because he was giving me what he could, hardworking man. And I thought to do a good deed for this man because he'll give his last and suffer to eat hardly anything. When I went to see him the next time to get money from him, he said, oh, I got a question. He asked me very calmly, very cordial. He said, those egg rolls, were they meat in there? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was bamboozled. And not only that, but I forgot it was you as well. He was like, I said they were pork. And he was like, you mean to tell me I ate pork for the first time? I was like, yeah. He was like, oh my goodness. He didn't get nasty with me. He was just like, wow, okay. So I was like, I am so sorry. Like, I was really apologizing to him. He was like, well, his wasn't religious reasons, just he just didn't do pork. And so it's like Zion came from, even his father that be not in the truth, the Most High had him come from a man who didn't even do defilement. Like Zion will not do mayonnaise, he will not do cream cheese, he will not do raw lunch meat. His food got to be cooked, okay? It's got to be cooked. Bless his little heart. Like, he's so amazing. Yes, thank God that you are aware of what's going on around. Exactly. You could be in darkness like most people. Exactly. And this comes with being of the light. Exactly. Because the Father doesn't just shine light in his word, but he shines light in every aspect in life with us. He doesn't want us to be ignorant. So I just wanted to share that with you all. But oh man! And what I was trying to say was, so yesterday when we were doing the Most High told us to burn and stuff, I was like, really, Father? Because it wasn't that I had an issue with it. It was just, when you got a seasoned Bible and you highlight and you're like, oh, I gotta go all over it. I was upset that I had to take away what was familiar to me. And he's like, I don't want that in my house. You got to get rid of it. And so I was like, all right. Because I thought it was just going to be the Apocrypha from Jedi Melech and them. He's like, no, since we're going to go this route, we might as well get the rest of it out too. And he told me to read Psalms 94 out loud. And I wanted it to be recorded to show them, I'm not playing with y'all. Here's your trash. And this is what we do. Just like with me and Zebediah, when Kim tried to curse us with these collectible old-fashioned cars, and the Most High said she's trying to curse y'all, get them out of here. And Zebediah quickly was like, let's go. And even to this day, every time you think about, I say cars, he said, remember when Kim tried to curse me with those idols? And we made up a song. We threw the idols in the trash. We threw the idols in the trash. And I said, Zion, back up. What did Zion do? Still got a fire. Tell me, I said, boy, you was getting burnt. He said, it's a little bit. I said, didn't I tell you to back up from that fire? You don't listen. I was so angry. I'm like, son, what if something would have happened to you? I got burnt as a baby. So that really, really struck me in my heart. I was like, oh. And so this is why I took the video down. So if you're wondering why it's not on there, that is the reason why. I can't have my father's work be seen as though, for one, with wisdom, I've already got ignorant demons trying to come up with ways to act as though I'm a wicked mother or I'm a neglectful mom. I give commands just like the father does, but his children don't listen. And it wasn't that he was deliberately being rebellious. He probably just in curiosity wanted to get close to the fire. Then as he backed up the second time, Spirit had him zoom in. Then he dropped the shofar. I'm like, bless his heart. Because let me tell you something. Everything was coming against us at that hour. I'm talking about the wind picked up stronger. And I'm like, well, Father, you want us to burn this wind? And I said, Father, you sure? So that's why I was at Zion. What did the Father want us to do with these? He said, burn them. And he told me he was going to confirm through Zion. So the enemy is always in war. Zion's always been my right little hand man. And so in war, the enemy afflicts him in agitation because although he's young, the enemy doesn't see him as a little Zion. He understands from the time he was conceived, he was a sign because I asked the Father when I was getting ready to go into the military, past ASVAB and everything. My recruiter, he was a Caucasian nasty man that pulled his nasty little thing at me. And that's why I was like, I don't want him. I told him I will not go into the army with that man. I want somebody else to come. That was the one sign. Then I said, Father, show me a sign if it be your will for me to go to the military or unless you want me to stay home. And I was pregnant. Found out I was pregnant on President's Days. I know we don't do holiday, but I found out on that day because I went to the place. I looked on the calendar and it said President's Day. I was like, okay, Father, this is your confirmation. You don't want me going to the military. But my mom was trying to push me to go because she was in the military. She was like, this would be a great life for you. You know, you'll be good. You'll have benefits. And I'm like, but if my father doesn't want me to go, I'm not going. And so that's what that was. If you saw the video and you heard Zion be like, that was the enemy trying to afflict my son and retaliation and anger. Because when we went to Shelly's house and was cleaning up with the unclean things and idols, he stepped on that baby doll and we both had affliction in our knee. I ain't ignorant. I will not be ignorant. And you all, I'm telling you, mothers and fathers, do not be ignorant with handling the little lambs of the Most High's flock. And when you get upset and angry, quickly get it right. And then after we did the fire, we sat down with our little lion blanket in the grass, laid in the sun, read the word. We went in prayer. And the Most High told Zion something for me to read. And I would just begin to rejoice because through Zion, he spoke. So I was like, it's all good. Like, son, don't beat yourself up. You know, don't feel like you didn't do anything right. Or because I was like, oh, son, this is not going to look good. What are we going to do? And I kind of was putting unnecessary stress on him. Like, oh, son, now they're going to try to take you from me because this is happening. And the Most I said, fear not. Fear not. So I won't fear. Back to Genesis 16, speaking about the children, right? And the angel of Ahiah said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of Ahiah said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Ahiah hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. So he's blended amongst us. Wow. And he shall, and she called the name of the issue that spake unto her, thou El seest me. You got to think about this right here, y'all. If the Most High told Abraham, take thou your son, thine only son, that means there ain't no way the world the angel of the Most High came unto her and told her anything that the Most High said. That means he never seen Ishmael. Why? The Most High will not see nor acknowledge sin or anything where man moves to their own understanding. Hence, Abraham hearkened to his wife. That's out of order. That's out of order. Unless she was speaking and confirming through the Spirit of the Most High and agreements with the Most High, and he was slightly contrary to the Most High. That's different. But she giving command out of her weariness against the Most High. And she said, thou El seest me? This is why the Ishmaelites are worshipers of Allah. It is what it is. He probably, you sure? He says the angel of the Most High. If the altar that she named is after, then that means that's the name that it revealed unto her. I am the God of El, or Elohim. For she said, I have also here looked after him that seeth me. Wait, question mark. I'm going to read it over. And she called the name of that Ishi, of the Ishi that spake unto her. Thou El seest me. For she said, have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Beer Lahori. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bared Abram a son. And Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare Ishmael. Notice the Most High ain't speaking in this because the Most High ain't got nothing to do with this. Most High said, okay, if I told you I'm going to bring a seed, then I'm going to bring the name of what that child's going to be. I didn't bring forth that seed. I'm not naming that child, and I don't acknowledge that child. To Most High, he's a bastard to me. And a bastard cannot enter into the congregation of the saints. That's just what his word is. Sorry. But when the Most High rejects you, there's somebody else out there that will receive you. Some of them fallen ones. Just like when the Most High seen in Jacob's heart beginning to distrust him, looking to be pleased with Esau, the fallen ones was drawn to him. A fallen deity, fallen angel, came unto him, he wrestled with, he thought was a messenger of the Most High with a blessing. You was already blessed, Jacob. He already told you he was going to be with you. You just wanted Esau's blessing. You wanted to have the sword so that not only could you have the spirit, but you wanted the spiritual blessing and the physical blessing. That's what Jacob wanted. He wanted a piece of Esau's cake when he didn't know that Esau really had a curse. That's like our people today that want the kingdom of the Most High and they want this world. They want to be up in this world. You can't serve two masters. Oh, man. Verse 14. Wherefore the well, I already did. All right, verse 16. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Genesis 17. And when Abram was 90 years old, 99, Ahiah appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty. It's saying Ishi Shaddai. Okay, I need to see what Shaddai means. That's a Hebrew word. If he said I am, chances are he said I am that I am. I'm gonna just keep it moving. Most times not gonna switch up and give you no nicknames. My name I am, but you can call me Elohim, or my name I am, but you can call me Elohim, or my name is I or Yahuwah, or that's just confusion. Because he ain't showing up to one person this way and then showing up to another person. The devil does that. Okay, so or Jeshadai is one of the names of the God of Israel. See there? It's a name that's okay. He only has one name. How can this is why people, the Jewish people, need to really their language and their doctrine really tell them they're not the people, because El Shaddai or just Shaddai is one of the names of the God of Israel. El Shaddai is conventionally translated into English as God Almighty. Deus omnipotens. Deus like Deus, omnipotent, not omnipotent in Latin, but its original meaning is unclear. It sounds like somebody falls in the tub like every morning down there. Like, what's really up with them? Unclear. If it's unclear, it's not of the Most High. Okay, is the most often translated God. Okay, El Elyon, N-A, Adonai is a combination of two names. See, for God, meaning God Most High. Please, please, my Lord. One of the names. Boom. Notice when we come in Genesis 17, he appears unto Abram as I am the Almighty. The rest of that stuff is irrelevant. And why? Because when this person wrote this Bible, because it was compiled by a person by the name of Timothy Shorteshaw, he was of Jewish descent. So he was just one of the ones who, through his diligence, like me, through researching, realized that those other names weren't right. And he thought by being a Jewish person that he could restore his people to the right name. But unbeknownst to him, they are the synagogue of Satan. And so he, in this Bible, says you can discover the Hebrew names of God within the biblical text. We don't need to discover it. See, one buildeth, another one. And through the Spirit of the Father, I could see the Hebrew wasn't necessary. Now, that's just straight up. It's just not necessary. Because there's a people who had to make a language up so they look like they were the people. And then when people want to act like if the world thought they were the children of the book, they had to have a language to say, if you want to really learn about the Bible, you have to learn this language. And then rather than people thinking they're learning the righteous, holy language, they're learning sorcery language. That's what they're learning. That's the trick. That's why they laugh at the Christians like, oh, you guys are no problem to us. You're not an issue. We're only trying to make sure we keep the chosen people asleep. That's our main goal. As long as we can keep them asleep, we'll never lose rulership, which is the serpent seed, which the Most High, Asher said in the garden to the serpent, that there shall be enmity against your seed and her seed, the woman, forever. So as long as we live, they didn't stop deceiving us. They're not going to stop trying to deceive us. And they did a good job in Hebrew, because it's completely utter confusion in that Hebrew language. All languages are confounded with babble and confusion because the Creator has done so. Not only that, He wants us to rely on His Spirit, not on anything that man can have the oversaying. All right. So he says to Abraham in Genesis 17, verse 1. And when Abram was 99 years old, and Ahiah appeared to Abram, he said unto him, I am the Almighty. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. Now, why do you think he said the Almighty? Because y'all thought I wasn't able to bring forth this child. I saw your doubt. I watched and seen how you listened to your wife, and you brought forth this child. No, matter of fact, don't even see that. I'm not even going to acknowledge that. That's just how smooth and how stern and how solid the Father is. Ishmael who? Oh, you mean rebellion? Oh, you mean sin? Oh, okay. Wild man. Call it what you want. Notice this angel told her he would be a wild man. His hand would be against everybody. The devil basically was like, yes. See, the enemy can give an anointing to things that come out of rebellion most because he hearkens to that kind of stuff. Oh, you in rebellion? Oh, yes. I'm gonna make you get promoted in your rebellion. I'm gonna make you go up further in your rebellion because I need you to think this is a blessing. I need you not to turn around, come to mine, and go back to the Father. I'm gonna teach you about incubus, succubus, and all this dumb stuff so that you can really think I'm deep. I'm deep. Verse 2, and I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and Ahiah talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee. He said, as for me, I can't speak with that other thing they was talking about to your wife. I don't know what he was talking about, but thus saith the Most High, the Almighty One, my covenant is with you, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee. See, the Most High's blessings add to you. Okay? According to your heart. He gave the blessing that was given to Esau was according to his heart. War in his heart, there you go. That's some war then. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. Kings, not princes. You got to get that. People got to get that. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a husband and a provider and keeper unto you, and to your seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their keeper, provider, sustainer. Okay. And because I'm not trying to say Ishi anymore, that's Hebrew. All right. So and provider said unto said unto Abram, provider, thou shalt keep my covenant. Therefore, you and your seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you, and your seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. Now, when Paul said, for such circumcision is none effect, if you will be circumcised, then grace is not effect to you. What he was saying is, if you still are walking according to the covenant, according by flesh, grace ain't gonna help you, because see, flesh is weak. So he wasn't trying to say that, oh, circumcision is not effect. That's what the unlearned would consume in their brain. But you have to be learned in the law and love the law, so that when you come to the testimonies, the Most High gonna grant you the grasp, the understanding of what was being said. That's why Peter said, don't come over here if you're unlearned in the law. It'll be to your own destruction. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in the house, or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. He that is born in thy house, he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. So we can't say, oh, he circumcised Ishmael. Look, even the slaves got circumcised, but they're not the promise. So we're not gonna play that way. Okay, in thy house, or bought with money, or of any stranger which is not of thy seed. He even covered that. Any stranger which is not of thy seed. He that is born in thy house, he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh, for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised. Now apply that with the spiritual understanding. And anybody who has not removed the understanding of the law according to the fleshly nature, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. You broken the whole, you caused the law to be weak. Because you don't understand the law is perfect. If you cause the Most High's law to be weak through flesh, which it will happen, because in the left flesh you cannot please him, that's like calling his word a liar. His word is not a liar. His word is perfect. Okay? So that's the way you read that with the spiritual understanding. And the provider said unto Abraham, as for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yeah, I will bless her. Yeah, confirming it. And yeah, in other words, I heard y'all. And she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Kings of people, not princes. Again, I say not princes. That's very important. Because there was this statue thing of the Caucasian man on a horse, and the native on one side and the Negro brother on the other side, and it really was translated. I think they said, some people think I've seen princes, or I don't know what they said or how they related, but what he was really saying was, I have seen servants on horses and kings on foot, something like that. But it's not princes. We're not related to as princes. In Egypt, even when it came to earlier down there, when Abram was afraid for Sarah, he said his princes and inquired of her to him. Because that comes from a mindset of somebody thinking, I'm the best and you all are under me. But the Most High say all kings. That's why you had the one king coming to David in 2 Samuel 24. Though he was a king, he still had reference for his fellow king brother. And if you understand, I'm a king, you're a king, we all under the Yasha. There's nobody could think that they're any better than somebody else. They all under Yasha, the king of all kings. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yeah, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Kings of people shall be of her. So that's a distinction she's going to be. He said it twice in here. She shall have kings. She not birthing no princes. That thing over there, he can be a prince all he wants to. A prince with the power. This is the rebuke for that so-called blessing that Jacob got. If he told Abraham over here, look at this, y'all. Highlight that if you can. In Genesis, 17, verse 16. And then Genesis 17:6. So 10 over, but we know originally when our scriptures were written, there weren't numbers. They were just written like constant, but in scroll form. But I mean, just look at that. Verse 6, he said it, and then he confirmed it again in 16. That's the 10. That's the completion. Verily, verily. I'm telling you, kings is coming out of her. So when Jacob was named prince with the power of God and Most High, that blessing wasn't of the Most High. That blessing was like of a deity over the Egyptians, the Canaan. That was a Egyptian deity or a fallen angel he was dealing with. Because trust and believe me, they got power. That's what they got. So he gave him some power because Jacob was in fear of Esau by his strength and might. So he thought, if I get his strength and might, I can strengthen. Because he didn't feel. Think about it. If you got the blessing and heritage, what was you scared of? You should have realized he had nothing. You should have realized the Most High kept you. He hid you. He increased you. What could he give you? Or what was you? How can you serve him? He didn't increase you, Jacob. Verse 17. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said, in his heart shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, that is 90 years old, bear? And Abraham said unto the provider, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. Notice, oh, if you could just receive Ishmael and we ain't got to. Nah, son, nah, I don't want to do it that. I'm good. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and he will make him out and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he begot. That's to the blessing. He's going to be a prince. He's not a king. You understand? His blessing is as a prince. When Hagar was in the garden, not to go to the wilderness, I allowed and forbid that being to go ahead and speak unto her, because I'm not speaking to that. I'm not going to acknowledge your sin and your rebellion and your disorder. So when the Most High, like with Job, when the enemy came and said, let me tell, the Most High allowed it. Must understand, all things must be under the Most High's approval. He says yea and or nay. He could have stopped that angel by sending his angel to say, nah, don't, I'll bless them or I have compassion. No, and he didn't. Because trust me, in the wilderness is probably where they were dwelling at, these fallen beings. Don't trust me. Seek the Most High's discernment on this occasion here. This is not a game. It is wonderful, and it's very, every time I read a new chapter with his spirit, I'm like, wow, like, Abba, this is, like, your word is so deep. It really is. Let me get back to it. Okay. See, 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. Did he not bless Esau, but he still hate him? Is Esau's blessing really a blessing? No. It's going to be to his demise. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac. In other words, he cannot worship before me. I'm establishing my statute and covenant with Isaac. My promise. What I said I was going to do. I did not say for you to have Sarah go get your handmaid and have her lay with you. I didn't do that. I didn't send for her. Your wife did. I will establish my covenant with, but my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto. She bear unto you. She will bear, okay? Not nobody's Hagar's. And at this set time in the next year. So not only am I going to tell you what you're going to have, a son, his name, when, and I'm going to establish my covenant with him. Enough said. And he left off talking with him. And the provider of Ahiah went up from Abraham. Notice they want to put in this one, when you're using, they want to use Hebrew to remove I am. No, Ahiah went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day, as Ahiah had said unto him. And Abram was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old. Just like you got them 13 families. There go that number, 13. When he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised and Ishmael his. And Ishmael. I'm not putting his son in there. If the Most High did not acknowledge him as a son, neither will I. And all the men of his house born in the house and bought with money of the stranger were circumcised with him. And Ahiah, I'm going to read some of 18 and I'm going to go ahead and get on.
And Ahiah appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat at the tent door in the heat of the day to catch the breeze. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, there 3 men stood by him, and they saw him, and he saw them. He ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. And he said, Ahiah, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort you in your hearts. After that ye shall pass on. For therefore ye are come to your servant. And they said, so do as thou hast said. Okay, this is Old English. All right, so be. All right, you can do that. I like to talk like I'm dealing with black people. I mean, not black, excuse me. I'm dealing with a melanated people, not this Old English. All right. And Abraham quickly hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal kneaded, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran unto the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hastened to dress it. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. He made sure that joint was nice and warm. I ain't gonna just give him some bland herb meat. My father likes flavor. He likes, and the dressing was the seasoning, okay? And they said unto him, with herbs and healthy things, most importantly, because our people did not digest any meat without herbs that would have helped digest parasites and things of such. Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to thy time of life. Lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. She wasn't having monthlies no more. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my master, being old also? And Ahiah said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh? What she think is so funny? Saying, shall I of surety bear a child, which am old? Why is she questioning me? Is anything too hard for Ahiah? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed. I didn't laugh. For she was afraid, and he said, no, but you did laugh. And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. That's another thing. Hospitality. When you have your guests out. I always tell my daughter, her friends, walk your friends out. You always make sure you walk your friends out, or you make sure you walk your company out. And said Ahiah said, shall I hide from Abraham that which I do? Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know him. He will command his children, his house, and hold after him. And they shall keep the way of Ahiah, to do justice and judgment, that Ahiah may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him. And Ahiah said, because of the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know. The men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before Ahiah. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as wicked? that be far from thee? Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And Ahiah said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham, when you guys read this, what you need to be getting from this is he's not me. He's trying to show his sternness. Because that deity engraven image that they have presented of our Father is nothing like that. Docile, 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 hugging everybody, come unto me, all this faggot stuff. He is great and terrible. And Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto I, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure, there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 45, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again and said, peradventure, there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, oh, let not Ahiah be angry. Listen, okay, no, but I will speak. Listen, peradventure, there shall be 30 found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there, 30 righteous. And he said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto my sovereign. Peradventure, there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, oh, let not Ahiah be angry. I will speak yet, but this once, peradventure, then 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for 10's sake. And Ahiah went his way. As soon as he had left a communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place. So I want to stop there and get the preparation going for the Sabbath. I want to see something. I wanted to ask you all something to see if y'all are saying that too, or if it's just me, since y'all are on here. Let me see. Okay, it's not doing it no more. All right, so there was a day. It was actually the 7th day. That from the day we went to Harriet's location. Every time I would click on a video, before the video would appear, it was black background and like fire cut just on the left side. I want to know if anybody else, if you were clicking on videos, if y'all saw that too, or if that was just my phone, or if that was just me. I just wanted to know. Has anyone seen that? When, like, say you just click on a video and before it actually appears, you see a black screen with fire left on the one side. Because it was only on that day. I mean, every time it didn't matter what video I clicked, it did that. It wasn't afterwards. And that was the same. And actually in that day of prayer, he said a ring of fire. Now, I just want to know, please, can someone come forward and answer that for me? If you haven't, then it's okay. Just so you haven't, but I just want to know. I do think, brother, I do. That's what we're doing. And now lately when we're in prayer, okay, thank you, bro and Savior. I appreciate that, bro. When now we're in prayer, what I have the children do is out loud say what they're thankful to the Father for, and just like speak, because I normally will let them pray quietly, but I want to hear how they're communicating. I want to know what I need to help them with and things like that. And so yesterday, baby girl said, I thank Ahiah for showing us his name. That let me know so much that she understood that he didn't have to reveal himself to us, but he chose to because so many other people don't get it. And just as when I was young and my mother was teaching me to write, I was soaking it all in. And we don't know how much of the seeds with our precious children, our precious little lambs, are soaking this stuff in. Because I remember when Zion, I'm going to say this little thing, and I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I remember when Zion was in school, when we was in public school, and that little Neanderthal cave beast little girl said to my son that he was black. Brother, they do it a lot. Because that's why I played that song by Director Barker called Watchers. Watchers at every side, they're with us all the time. We see through your disguise, you can't look in our eyes. Yasha warned us about you, waging war in the physical. This is spiritual battle, and I got scriptural ammo. I can look at them and see their misery, look for occasion to set me up so they can sentence me, but we are not pressed. We're good over here, you feel me? Remember that one video I had the day I went to Harriet's location when Most High told me to go there the night before. Remember, the evening and the morning is the next day. I was discerning through the spirit that there was something going on where it might signal. And I said, something's not right. And then I came on live. My video was something's going on. And Abba started dropping gems and stuff, right? He gave me the vision of what I needed to do the next day. So as I was discerning something's going on, my angel and those fallen ones were fighting for against me to receive the revelation of the Most High. It's not even easy out in this world. You know what I'm saying? It's not even easy in this game. Well, in the Most High. And so I just kept saying something's up with my internet. Like I was like, Most High was letting me see my connection was being disturbed. Now, I wasn't worried about no Wi-Fi. I said, now that means my spiritual connection was being disturbed. And so I said, okay, I know how to make them mad. I'll come on live and I'll minister and start breaking out and just let the spirit move me, because when I'm amongst the body, he moves different than when I'm by myself, because my gifts are not for me, they're for the people. And so in that time, I received the vision of that thing I had to go to, the sign where he wanted me to go. He said, when you get there, I'll speak. So I'm telling y'all, so when I got there, go back some. So it wasn't until the 7th day, which was days later, 7 days after we went there. And he was revealing to me how he was clearing me up in my spinal area. Some people call it, I don't mind acknowledging that. Bottom line, he was fixing my spine. He was just fixing and clearing things up for me. And when I opened my eyes, I saw like the glimpse. I thought it was the twinkling. He was allowing me to see the twinkling, but he was letting me know I'm clearing up your spiritual eye. He says, if your eye be dark, how, you know what I mean? I mean, if your spiritual eye is based upon darkness, how dark, you can imagine how wicked you are. If you have a crave to feel the need to feed people about wickedness, then your inwards is wicked. But if your spiritual eye is of the Most High, then your wisdom's gonna be completely of Him. You don't need no stupid daggone acknowledgement about no wicked stuff. Or who are these people watching and not exactly, bro? They're watchers. They're watchers. Remember when a few days ago I was saying something, and that one devil was like, we got videos of you. Well, the Most High let me know in prayer. He said, ring of fire. Fear not, fear not. Then the next day I look on every time I click something on videos, he was showing, I saw that fire. So he let me know, I know they're watching you, but I sent my protection for you. Because even right here, when I saw that fire, he reminded me of this word that this sister had gave me, where she said she had a vision of the Most High's hand over me, and it was like fire on both sides. It was like red smoke from all the fire. And she said, every time people came for you, he smacked them out of the way. And so I was like, all praises. Like, this was a vision. Here it goes. It was given to me April 14th. And she said, she saw me walking through like it looked like a nuclear bomb. Everything was on fire. She said, all is on fire. All you can see is fire burning, a valley of the shadow of death. She said, on my sides is evil. All who came for me was pushed away. A standard was lifted up against them to the unseen eye. See, Yah is testing me. I can't see them. Yah's hands on me. He pushes them away. Psalms 3. And it was by my sister Yahara Amaris, given by Yahara Amaris. Her name was Kirsten. That was her Babylonian name. So I pray that sister's doing well. So she's got the gift to see as well. Or the Most High revealed it to her. I don't know how she's doing. I haven't heard from her in a while. Okay, Psalms 3. I just want to read that. In other words, he said, I can't see them, which means when they're coming at me, I'm not going to see them first. I'm not going to recognize. I'm like a wolf. I mean, excuse me, a sheep. And then once he reveals, most mind you, when he deals with them, then he reveals to me. Then he opens my eyes to rebuke them. That's why it comes with the her, because I'm like, what happened, Father? Wait, what happened, Father? He's like, yeah, daughter. So the righteous indignation was like, how dare you? I was nice to you. I was good to you. How could you treat me like that? Even with thoughts, he be showing me people's thoughts and process to be contrary. And it's all it's all in wickedness, you know? Psalms 3. Okay. A Psalm of David when he fled from Absalom, his son. Ahiah, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in the Most High. Basically, there's no help for her. But thou, O Ahiah, art a shield for me, my glory and the lifter of my head. I cried unto Ahiah with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. I laid me down and slept. I awakened, for Ahiah sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Ahiah, save me, O my provider and keeper, for you have smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the unrighteous. Salvation belongeth unto Ahiah. Thy blessing is upon thy people. So be it. 8. Wow. And when we were in prayer yesterday, I said, children, I want you to, I'm also trying to teach them to learn his voice more and get exercise of his voice. Turning Wi-Fi off. We pray at certain hours. We go up to the highest part of our house, or we'll go outside in the grass. And when we were praying yesterday, after we did the fire, Zion said, I heard 8. Boom. 8 verses here. And I did not to brag, Ahiah sustained me through 8 hours of fasting. So I was in 8 hours of fasting while rebuking Jediah, though I was being attacked with everything around me in prayer. Zion said 8, and Hephzibah said Psalms 18, and Zebediah said 1:11. So I was like, okay, all praises. You put 1 with 8, you got 18. I'm not trying to go off into whatever suspicious, but Abba, he knows how he made me. So he knows how to communicate. I understand him. We're one in our understanding. I share things because there could be others who are, have the gifts or have the understanding, or I could help them. I could be a help to them. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, bless the Most High. And Psalms 18 is actually when it says the chief musician of Psalm of David. The chief musician is the chief David, okay, which is Yasha. All right, we sing unto him, the servant of Ahiah, who make unto Ahiah the words of this song. In the day that David was, Ahiah delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. And he said, I will love thee, O Ahiah, my strength. I will love you, because that's what the whole problem's based on. Those that really, really love him will fight for him. And we don't understand those who don't love him. And we certainly will not tolerate you speaking against him or slander his name or coming against his people. That's what we're not going to have. You're going to get a whole beast with us when you come against the Father. We don't care about our issues no more. He already takes care of our light work. We're dealing with bigger battles. It's like, for our love of thee, they hate us. They despise us for his love. Ahiah is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my keeper, my strength in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. Also, when I went to the Harriet Tubman place to lie down, as he told me, on my back, I had to step 5 steps up, and everybody else had to do 3 back. But the second time he took, well, at that time, it was like around 4 or something. He said, I'll speak within the 5th hour. He woke me up yesterday at 5 a.m. My fast was from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then the second time at the 5th hour at the location, he told me Habakkuk 5:5. And then Zion and Zebediah laid next to me. Bless their little hearts. They laid next to me. And I said, did you guys feel any things in your back? They was like, yeah, like my back was cracking. I said, all praises. All praises. So, bless my little men. I am so blessed as a mother. I feel like he blessed me with like little Maccabees babies. Like they are young, but they love and they are so vigilant for the Most High. That's a blessing to be able to birth children who love the Most High is better than anything you can imagine. That's how some of us say my child graduated from college. Well, I say my baby fears the Most High. That's my pride and joy, And I will call upon Ahiah, who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me. The floods of unrighteous men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon Ahiah and cried unto my keeper. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even unto his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because he was wroth. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed hailstones, and the coals of fire. Ahiah also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yeah, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Then the channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke. O Ahiah, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. He sent from above. He took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy. And this is how I was feeling. I was like, Father, I know the retaliation of me exposing him is going to be great. This man calls on fallen angels. This man has some kind of connection with the Kabbalah. I really was. I was like, Father, please fight with me because I'm standing up for you. And he was like, fear not. And when he told Hephzibah to tell me this, I was like, ah! And from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity. But Ahiah was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Ahiah rewarded me according to the righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands, hath he recompensed me. And that's another part that made me cry. I was like, because I remember in the dream when instead of the angel saying nothing to me or giving me a distasteful spirit or look, they said, we got to intervene for her. So that let me know they're going to go on to behalf of the Father and say, hey, there's one of them ones down there and she needs some help. She needs some help. This is what was going on. This is what we saw in her hands. The cleanliness of my hands. That's why I'm trying to tell you all, family, that when the Father, we have to serve him with our hands. We worship with our hands, and we serve our fellow brethren with our hands. And our hands cannot be bloody or unrighteous. That is why he told David, you can't build my temple because your hands got too much blood on it. Though I needed you to kill, I still have statutes. I still have requirements, and I can't bend those for you, man. So this is the beginning of knowledge when we begin to learn how to learn our Father through the fear of him. That's why I told the children, she's got the dog, it's going outside for timeout. Because the Most High even struck an ox for tipping over the Ark of the Covenant. She cannot come into my place of worship, in my place of war, and begin to release her fecal matter. That is unclean. That was an attack, and I will not have it. Hesabel's I said, Charisma, have some. Pull it together. Get it, rear it in. Just like I ran over that coon, the raccoon, and she was there. She wasn't, because she's, bless her. She's like, she has like a Joseph kind of heart. She has a strong compassion. She's a soft-natured, precious little princess. And she's like, Mom, that raccoon was of a family. I was like, get it together. It's either us or the raccoon. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to swerve out of a 50 mile per hour, 50 miles, okay, mph, for me to just curve up for a freaking raccoon. Like, no, and a no. The raccoon had to die. And then the very next day, the Most High began to speak to me about a family who he saw as a coon. And then shortly after that, there came the rebuke for that family because her husband is a coon. And then, Shelly told me that, hey, they were having a grand opening and he had the nerve, Dan being Brown, of our people, had the nerve to ask Shelly, do you have any white friends you can invite? Because I don't want anybody black going to be there. And she said, what? I only know black people. I only, I guess that goes my list. And so I said to Kim when I rebuked, I said, the Most High had me when I had to rebuke them. I said, your husband's a daggone coon, okay? She said, what do you mean? I said, he had the nerve to tell Shelly, could you invite somebody white? He didn't want nobody black there. Now she goes, he didn't say that. But then she goes behind, she didn't think that me and Shelly was going to link up again. Then she goes to Shelly and says, hey, did you say that to them? On the ride where they're taking Shelly to get a surgery. So they waited till they got Shelly in their care. This is how wicked they are. This is what you call wicked people. Because Shelly needed to rely on them because I couldn't take her because I told her the Most High through his spirit told me I can't go around anybody who gets that COVID-19 test strip down their nose. I can't. I have to be set apart. And so I was going to take her, but I couldn't. And so she had to rely on Kim. And that was around the time when she felt like I wasn't able to help her, that she kind of was disappointed in me. And she felt that my friendship and everything was just like down the drain, And it hurt me that I wasn't able to be there for her. And she had to be in the cares of Kim. And they chose at that time to ask her a question. And she basically, and Shelly just kept it a buck. She's like, yeah, I did say it. Why would you ask me that? Like, why would you ask me about only inviting white people? And Kim tried to make it fancy. Did you say he was an Uncle Tom? No, I didn't say Uncle Tom. I said a coon. And if he had a problem, he could have asked me. I'll tell him to his face he's a coon. So in case you're watching me, Kim, I will very boldly let your husband know he's a whole white coon that soon my father's going to run over him. Just like my truck ran over that coon that day. Now, I couldn't go past. I had to acknowledge that. But she said, I was arguing. She said, when she took me the other day to the bank, whatever, to get some money out, she said, I argued. She said, I had just got out of surgery. And they had, mind you, just look how wicked they are. They waited till she was weak and vulnerable to say something to her about it, thinking that, oh, you're in our car now. So she was like, yeah, I walked the rest of the way. I got out the car and walked from the bridge and just walked home. I'm like, they did that to you when you got out of surgery? I'm not surprised. See, those family, if you want to know if you are dealing with witches, they are manipulative, they are conniving, they're underhanding, they're backbiters. It is so, let me tell you something. The Father hates that. He hates that stuff. How could you? I don't even care about that. You be upright. You don't do people like that. You don't take someone and they're relying on you for help. Then you turn around in their weak moment and knock them down. That's wicked. That's why I was saying with Talia, your rebuke, I tried to look at your rebuke on Jediah to see what your view. I was like, but you know what? Now I'm good because I already know what the Most High showed me with them. So I don't really need to look at that because she started saying manginas. I'm like, this girl is so filthy with her mouth. She is so filthy. And if your mouth is that filthy, your inward is filthy. See, it doesn't matter that you're rebuking someone that's worthy to be rebuked. You know, even in the rebukes, we're being observed. Do you know everything we say that our assigned angels are recording things? So that lets me know if you're rebuking someone without the fear of the Most High, you're laughing, and this is funny to you, you've missed the whole point. That means you think that Ataliah, that you are above a correction, as you came to me before saying, I'm not a student, I'm a teacher. Oh, excuse me. We are all students, for we learn every day. But obviously you haven't been learning because I see that you're an old ancient fool. And I hope, hey, Selah, I hope you're not watching her still. Selah, I hope you're not still watching her still, because that would probably be the reason why you can't cipher the real reason why Ahiah's name is Ahiah. This is probably why you're still saying why HWH is, because you let it be known on that day when I was on your chat that you still watch her, that you were a compromiser, that you were a flim-flammy person. You weren't solid. See, I'm not playing with y'all no more. I see something that's off, I would say open rebuke. It's exposure. So majority of the ones that's probably secretly watching me could be some old subscribers that's still trying to watch with amongst the watchers, looking for something to set me up on, just like they were watching John the Baptist, and just like they were watching Yasha. Ain't nothing new. Who am I? You know? So he brought me forth and also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Ahiah rewarded me according to the righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands. He recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of Ahiah and have not, wickedly departed from my keeper. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him. In other words, I was also Jeshurun. Oh, David even said I was upright. I was also upright before him, and I have kept myself from iniquity. Therefore have Ahiah recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. Again, he said, which means in his eyesight, my hands were cleansed. Though y'all might have thought I was still filthy, I was cleansed by him. And he gave me a song the other day when, that's why I say, y'all, can y'all please pray for my husband? Because unforgiveness will not allow you to be forgiven. If you still waddle in pain for what someone's done to you, then you basically tell the Most High that you ain't cleansed them. You make the Father a liar. I have said to him several times, I apologize for, I can't apologize anymore. I'm showing you I'm walking in righteousness, and that's not good enough for you. Mind you, before I even fell, you abandoned me. You neglected me. So Most High was like, daughter, remember that it wasn't that he's not going to make you be filthy and act like the reason why he's not right with me is because of you. Remember when you first came into this truth, how he was acting. So don't let that mess get you down. Same with my other sisters and brothers. Love them. When you do wrong, confess it, repent, and walk and continue. Every time they afflict you, just, you know what? Just, all right. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray that you find peace. I pray that you find peace, because it's not going to be good for you if you continue walking in this way and you can't find forgiveness for somebody else. How are you going to receive forgiveness for yourself? You're allowing trauma to torment you, and that's just not good. And that just breaks my heart. But Abba showed me, daughter, he cheated on me first. He committed adultery against me first, daughter. He fornicated against me first. So you step aside. This is me and his issue right now. This is me and his issue. Same with other ones. When I'm hearing brothers that always talk about, oh, sisters and committed adultery, what you have to do is you've got to examine not just her, but you got to examine yourselves. Because if you can say, like David, okay, Father, where was I? Was I Then was I not hearing her? Was I not covering her? Was I at network level? And the Most High says, no, son, it wasn't you. Then so be it. Or if the Father says, well, this is what you need to consider, then boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. Then you align yourself up. But several times he said to me, I'm sorry. I've forgiven you. It wasn't your fault. It was me too. I did it. And I'm like, oh, praises. The next thing you know, you're turning around back there. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm just going to be peaceful, deal with you in love, and just realize it's a spiritual thing. And I really, really, guys, Robert really, Nashawn really needs some prayer, because this man, bless him, like, he doesn't have many people. His mother passed away. His dad left him. And we're all the family he's got. He's got a brother in down south in the military with him, but his brother's not according to the fashion of the Most High. So his wisdom and his counsel, to some extent, I would really recommend. He would want. He was already trying to send pictures to him of other women, and then I'm looking at messages and he's erasing stuff. So I'm like, that's not righteous. So when I ask for people to pray for my husband, brothers, I'm talking about righteous brothers who come in the name of Ahia. And if there's anybody who wants to pray for his demise, you will deal with war. I will pray, my Father, deal with you, because that's wicked. You don't do that to people. You don't do that to people when someone's down, because you will reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. And if you're going to pray for somebody's demise, then you're going to reap that. You are not walking in that man's shoes. You don't know what that man's going through. So I'm saying to you, wicked people out there, stop doing that. It's got to be a woman who simply hates men that would out of her mouth just call somebody a mangina. Like, what is the point of that? That's just you don't feel uncomfortable talking like that? Wicked. Therefore hath Ahia recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. With the merciful, thou wilt show thyself merciful. With an upright man, you will show yourself upright. Come on, David. In other words, if you become upright unto me, I will show myself upright to you. If you become Jeshurun with me, I'll be Jeshurun with you. Did you see what he just said? He said upright. That's what we need to aim to be. Not only upright, but mercy was mentioned as well. Merciful. Merciful. This is why in our rebukes, there must be mercy. And this is why I said yesterday in my second video to Jediah, I would hope if you are a man that loves the Most High and you just been ignorant all your life because of your teachers, if your intentions are truly pure, then seek his face and humble yourself and destroy all that. That would mean you would do it like David did. You would pay you. It's got to cost you something. Your repentance, if it was a great deception that you have been a part of, then your sacrifice must be greatly given. You must get rid of those books. You must learn to let the Most High humble you and reteach you according to his spirit and not according to what you were taught. And then those that are under your hand, under your watch, will have more respect for you and admiration. Say, you know what? This brother was wrong, but instead of him having pride and wanting to be right, he chose to turn around. Then understand, the Most High will promote you. Then he'll elevate you. And you won't need to worry about where your stuff's going to come from. He's going to keep you. But just show the Most High. You got to be able to do what David did when the angel of death was standing upon the nation, the city. Because unbeknownst to you, Jediah, the angel of death is at your family's door. They are. And when the rest of the people be dropping, your family will drop if you do not take heed to the Most High's warnings. Brother, you're dead. You must be born again. You must. With the pure, thou will show thyself pure. And with the forward, he will show himself forward. So if you're forward, all you're going to see in his word is forwardness. And that's going to lead you to destruction. For thou will save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. For thou will light my candle. Let him light your candle. Let him be the light. Let him enlighten you. Ahiah, my provider, will enlighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, and my keeper shall I leap over a wall. For as for my keeper, his way is perfect. The word of Ahiah is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is my keeper, save Ahiah? Who is my rock, save Yeshua? It is my keeper that girdeth me with strength, and maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that the bow still is broken by my arms. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and my right hand hath holden me up, and thy gentleness hath made me great. Let the gentleness of the Most High make us great. So be it in the name of Yeshua. I thank you all for tuning in today. Whether you were edified or whatever your reasonings were, so be it. I pray that this word will bring forth fruit in its due season. Not only that, if there's any questions or comments, this is the moment for it. And I'm not trying to attack you, Talia. I perceive that you may have a set of visions, a set of eyes, but if it's not according to righteousness and you give it over to Baal, then where is the Father glorified? Because you got an ugly spirit, ugly nature. I would take it that there is probably no questions. And blessings to you as well, brother. Blessings received and blessings to you sevenfold, you and your household. Happy Preparation Day, family. I pray that you all are doing what you got to do to prepare for the Sabbath of the seventh set-apart day of the Most High. Okay, that he is appointed unto us throughout our generations, that it may be a sign between us and him. Okay, that he do sanctify us. So let's please do the best we can to keep his day holy unto him and do what is pleasing. I'm excited for the Sabbath, for this seventh set-apart day. I really am. So you all, I'm going to be going now. Love you all. Joyous enduring in this time. Let your joy be filled as you endure. And be a light the best way you can. Love you all. Peace and blessing.